Yes, people. Welcome back to GNA TV. Before we move forward, let's cue that intro. Yes, people. Welcome back to GNA TV. Hope you guys are all well and had a sick day today. I've literally been out all day and I got back and I was like, I need to talk. I need to talk to my Chelsea boys, my Chelsea women, my Chelsea men, everyone that's in the chat right now. But before we move forward, please smash that like button. Let's try and get to 30 likes. There's 15 of you here already, so please smash it. If you can also share on your socials as well that we're live, obviously that will be a massive thing. We appreciate that hugely. I will be doing a giveaway, which is on our Instagram page. You need to be following our Instagram page to be involved in that as well, which I'll be doing very soon, some point next week, for you guys to get involved as well. The link will be in the chat very soon. We're going to talk about Callum Hudson Odoi. Callum Hudson Odoi is the talk of the town tonight. I'm just going to tell you guys how I feel about it. Get involved with yous. You can send in some chats. We'll talk. We're not monetized yet, but we're getting there. It should be monetized by tomorrow, which means you guys will be able, out of your own will, to put in super chats to us, and we'd have to highlight and read them out, answer your questions and things like that. So that's something we'll do at a later stage, but please get smashing that likes, people. I appreciate it. Let's quickly look at your chats. Alex CFC's in the house. Big up to him as well. Big up to Mustafa. Big up to CFC Beast, who's in the house. Big up to my guy. James Gabrielli, always showing support as well. Jasper, big up to you as well. Guys, I've not been around for the last couple of days. I've been away. I went away with family, had a little break. And yeah, it was good. It was good. I needed it just to try and charge up the batteries, as they say, in many ways. But big up to Beautiful Game as well. Beautiful Game, should I say. That's a great name. Who made the intro? Ads made the intro. As you can see, there's a lot of things that have been amended in terms of GNA TV. We've got a lot going on tomorrow as well. So make sure you tune into that with Alex, the Euro expert. He'll be going through the watch along for the final for the Lille game. CFC Stephen, big up to you as well. Big up to Crofty CFC. Cho has no future here. Should have taken the 80 mil for him. We are going to get into that. I'm going to talk to you guys and tell you guys about how I feel about Callum Hudson Odoi. Now, there's a lot of Chelsea fans in there that are going to probably disagree with my comments that I'm going to come out with. Once I've got my comments across, I'll answer some of your questions, and then the link will be in the chat. But we need to get to 30 likes, people. I need some help. So please get us to 30 likes. There's nearly 20 of you here already as well. Much appreciated. Big up to Wayne. Wayne's a big fan here as well. Big up to C1 London. And then we've got Ian as well. Ian's always in the house as well. Big up to him. Cho is what CFCB says. All right, let's get into it, because it is the debate show. It's something that I've missed for a while, you know, doing this with you guys, getting you involved, seeing what your thoughts are on an individual player. So look, this is how I feel about Callum Hudson Odoi. I feel if he's going to progress, if he's going to become the player, that we think he can become, I do not think it will be at Chelsea Football Club. And the reason I say that is because since Callum Hudson Odoi came in to the first team, since he's came and started getting involved, I know he's not had many minutes. He got that horrendous injury that completely put him out of the game as well for a while. He has had opportunities, but the opportunities that he's been given, I would say he's taken some of them, but others I don't think he has as much. And I feel with Callum Hudson Odoi, he has so much talent, raw talent. Yeah, you can see that he's good on the ball. You can see that he can drive at individuals. You can see that people don't want to face him one-on-one because he's got them. He can easily get around them. He limits himself. He does limit himself. And I know a lot of people saying, yeah, but with progression, you need minutes. And I get that. Yes, he probably does need minutes. He needs a manager that's going to show confidence in him, show him that they want him in the team. And for me, I don't know whether Tuchel's going to do that. I know when Lampard was here at the beginning of the season and we was playing Mason Mount out on the left, there was a lot of Chelsea fans calling out for him basically not being, what is he doing? Doesn't know what he's doing. He's inexperienced. Lampard doesn't know what he's talking about. He's playing Mason Mount out of position. We've got Callum Hudson Odoi on the bench. Tuchel comes in. We start winning games with Callum Hudson Odoi on the bench, and it was all forgotten. Do you know what I mean? It was just all forgotten. And now I just feel like Tuchel's come in. He likes Callum Hudson Odoi, but I don't know whether he looks at him as being like the Chelsea's version of Sancho. Because let's be serious, he's got all the talent in the world to become that individual, but will he reach that talent that he has? One of the things that he struggles with, one of the things that I criticise him a lot, in front of goal, he can be wasteful. He's got to improve in the final third. He can sometimes fall asleep. His positioning sometimes, he can get caught out. I liked him at right wing back when he was playing under Tuchel. I thought he gave us a lot of power, a lot of drive as well. And the fact that he's kind of pulled him away from that, not really shown. He's not really been able to just stamp his authority in that position. Tells me, is he just going to be a player that's going to be plodded along through Chelsea? Now, Chelsea's not the kind of club that can have players that can just plod. And I know Callum Hudson Odoi is still very, very young, but my worry for Callum Hudson Odoi is if he becomes one of them players that can't produce his, and show the world what he's about. Because all right, we might not be giving him the minutes, but at the same time, he's not pushing himself. He's not getting, showing the world what he's about. And what I worry about with him is that I feel like as a football club, Chelsea don't really show any faith in youngsters. I think if you look at it overall, you look at Mason Mount, Frank Lampard, you could say is the reason that all started. Going back from the Derby days all the way through to Chelsea, Frank Lampard is why Mason Mount has become more noticed, much more noticed. A manager's not come in and looked at Callum Hudson Odoi and said, yes, he's the man. We don't need Sancho. We don't need what's his name? Neto. Yeah, like all these decent wingers. We don't need any of them. They don't do that. They don't look at him and go, right, Callum Hudson Odoi, he's the answer. And a lot of people, and a lot of Chelsea boys are saying to me, wait till next season. He's going to get more games. He's going to be more influential. He's going to be the player that we thought he was going to be. I just don't know if our manager's going to give him the minutes. And when he's been given the minutes, it might be 1 or 2 games in a row. Is he going to take them chances? Is Callum Hudson Odoi going to stand out? Is he going to be the man that says, hang on, Tuchel, you don't need to go and get Sancho. I'm here. Give me the ball and let me show you what I can do. And look, we know that there's areas of his game that he needs to work on. There's a massive amount of areas, positions and areas that he needs to do to work on his game. We know that. There's issues with his game. And I get that. As he gets along, as he goes on with his career, he will get more opportunities, more chances to impress, to show what he's about. But it's Chelsea Football Club. This is my question I pose to you viewers. There's nearly 26 of you here. Is Callum Hudson Odoi going to be given the time to progress at Chelsea Football Club? I know a lot, and the other thing that worries me is if we don't, and he goes to a Spurs, a Manchester United, any of these type of individuals, what if he excels there? What if he does excel at these clubs? And then people will start going, see, look, the same thing that happened with Salah, the same thing that happened with Kevin De Bruyne at Man City. No, the issue was Chelsea never showed faith, never gave them the opportunity to become, not just only give them the minutes, but allow them to have the progression, the minutes, the time to get involved in the game and become the individual that they're set out to be. Because you've got to bear in mind, a lot of football players, they do limit themselves. They don't all hit their raw. You look at Sancho, for example. Not is he only assisting, he's contributing, he's scoring goals, he's everything. When he ain't playing for Dortmund, he stands out. You miss him. But with Callum Hudson Odoi, do we actually miss Callum Hudson Odoi when he's not on the pitch? That's my question to you guys. Do we? Because for me, potentially, I like Callum Hudson Odoi. I'm not here sitting here saying I don't want him. He's crap. Get rid of him. I like him. I think he's got a load of talent. My question is he going? Is he going to be able to progress to become the player that he wants and who needs to be at Chelsea? I don't think he will. And people say he's took his chances and he deserves more time. I don't think he's took his chances. I don't think he stood out as much as a lot of other Chelsea fans have said to me on socials, Twitter, wherever. I don't think he has. And if he has, I'm going to give you the opportunity to come in and have your say about this guy. Come and change my mind about this guy. Because at the moment, I feel like if Sancho comes tomorrow, he may go. And if he goes, I don't blink an eye for him. Sorry, need a drink. I don't blink an eye for him. I really, really don't. Before we move forward, please smash the likes. Let's get to 30 likes. I'm going to put the link in the chat in about 5 to 10 minutes. I'm just going to go through some of your chats, see what you're saying about the situation. James says, I like Cho. Just doesn't seem to be given a consistent run of games. And I guess that's one point of the argument. You know, he isn't being given time to shine, as many people say. But he needs, when he's been given the opportunities in games to come in, or even if he's starting games, and he has started games under Lampard, a couple under Tuchel when he first come in. Remember this, guys. He came on for someone and then got subbed by Tuchel. He came on for someone and then got subbed. Why is Tuchel doing that? What is it that Callum Hudson Odoi doesn't do for managers? Like, what is it that managers don't see in him? What is the issue with that? Like, I don't get it. Next season is make or break for Cho, but he's not the only one. And you've got a point, but Cho's been at the club longer. You know, I'm waiting for Callum Hudson Odoi to just become this guy. You man, get your fathers, your aunts, your uncles, grandfathers, grandmas, cousins, siblings to like. Please do that, because CFC Beast is right. Come on, guys, let's try and get more of us in here. What are you doing, Jim? It's the Eurovision time. Sorry, Red and Blue podcast, is it? Didn't even know. I'm not really interested in the whole Eurovision thing. Stopped watching it a long time ago. Big up to you, Chris, as well. Mustafa, the Man United fan, is saying he's overhyped. Do you agree that he is overhyped? Hudson Odoi on loan to Palace with Lampard as Palace manager. Potentially. There's nothing wrong with that. I think we need to understand that as fans. If it means that Callum Hudson Odoi is on a loan and he can come back to Chelsea, but whilst he's at Palace, Frank Lampard, if he is there, is giving him the time and the minutes. And you've got to bear in mind, he'll be playing in the Premier League as well, so he'll be playing at the highest level. Give him time to grow as an individual, more confidence, you know, work on his game, work on his final third. Work on his final third when he's in front of goal. When he's in front of goal, you know, putting it in the back of the net. When he has that opportunity to change games. Eden Hazard-esque. Eden Hazard-esque, I'm talking about. That's what I want from him. We know he's got the talent. I'm not sitting saying he's shit. He's not shit. He's got all the talent in the fucking world. But he needs to unlock that talent himself. The only one that can do it is him. Callum Hudson Odoi is the only one that can unlock his talent. There's nearly 35 of you here. Get me to 30 likes. I'm going to put the link in the chat. Come and tell me what you feel about Callum Hudson Odoi. I'd love to get you more involved. Let's go through some more of these chats. If Odoi has something about him, he should go to a team like Southampton, a place where he can still play an attacking football. And CFC Beast has got it's right. He should go to a team that has an attacking impotence that will use him. Use and play to his strengths. You don't want him to go to a Burnley, for example, where they like setting up tight, you know, not many holes, they defend quite well, compact, etc. You want him to go to a team where he can. I mean, Leeds. Can you imagine Callum Hudson Odoi at Leeds? All right, they can see goals and whatever, but they always think about going one way, and they use the individuals that they have. You know, their wingers, you know, the wingers are pretty decent there. You know, they're allowed to express themselves because the manager allows them to express themselves. He could go there and walk into that team and play off the right. Why not? Why couldn't he go and do that? But Callum Hudson Odoi leaving and going alone is probably the best answer. Not sell him, maybe loan him and allow him and then see how he gets on. Watch him and see how he progresses with whoever he goes to. Abdullah says, I think Cho needs a loan. He needs more time to develop. And I think there's a lot of people here that are saying the same thing. He doesn't ever get a consistent run. I keep hearing the same thing. He's not getting a consistent run. Big up to Johnny, who's in the chat as well. Josh is here. Slater in our team, as always, people. Deal with Josh in the chat. Tro is trash. Deluded Chelsea fans generally compare him to Saka. Is Saka clear of him, Chelsea fans? Do we believe what Josh is saying? Big up to JB as well. Johnny Odoi don't have the minerals is what he's asking there. Big up to Wayne. I don't have problems. I don't have a problem with him going to a rival as long as we add a rival tax and sell on a clause. And yeah, I mean, would you want the same sort of contract that was set up for Tomori? Do you want to be able to be left that vulnerable so that if the team that have took him on want to buy him, they can activate that? I don't know. You know, could we get away with just loaning him out? I'm sure a lot of Premier League teams would look at Callum Hudson Odoi and go, I want him. He will go into our team. Look at Manchester United Football Club. Let's start with them. They have no right winger. Man United, if they were clever enough and they didn't want to spend too much money, could go to Chelsea and say, look, loan him to us. He will play in our team. We have no right wingers. He could go to Man United and prove a point. He could go to Man United and prove a point and become this player. He wouldn't be able to play against us, which is cool, but he could actually help and elevate them. Now, if he's doing that at the highest level with a club like Man United, because Man United have seen that in him, not saying that Chelsea would do that. I'm not saying Chelsea would give him to Man United, because I don't think they would, because it maybe would strengthen them in many ways. But he could elevate. He could. I'm not saying he couldn't. But I've just not seen enough of him from when he has started. When he has been given the opportunity, has he done enough? Has Callum Hudson Odoi done enough for Chelsea? I don't think he has. JB saying, I hope Manchester United sign Sancho in the next 2 to 3 weeks before the Euros. He's such a talented player. He is. And if Chelsea bought him tomorrow, I wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't blink. Ziyech can disappear. You know, Hudson Odoi, if Chelsea got rid of him, same, you know, cool, you know. But ideally, I'd want Ziyech to go. I just look at Ziyech's attitude, the way he walks around, can't be bothered. You know, yeah, he scores some goals here and there. I don't know about him. You know, I'm really struggling with him. Had the whole panel against me. He did. Johnny had the whole panel against him today over on Carefree Lewis's channel. That is very, very true. I crave to see De Bruyne lifting the UEFA Champions League whilst Mount's average Mount watches him cry. Oh, Josh, I ain't got time for you, mate. Fergie's son says, please hit the like button. Please subscribe if you're new to GNA TV as well, guys. Please, can you do that? Thank you for getting us to 1K. We're on our way to 1.1 already. We're quite close. Please keep sharing on your socials and help me get to 30 likes, and then potentially maybe to 50 if we can push it out. I'm going to put the link in the chat in about 2 minutes. 2 minutes, you will see the link coming in. I'm just going to quickly finish off on some of these chats that we've got here for you guys. What is this about? I see you guys talking a lot of things different, and you got you really sold as you come and Cisco Fabregas Banter Club. I'm assuming they're talking about one and only, what's his name? Josh. There's been a lot of talk about Rice. Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and talk too much about him. Rice is a Chelsea fan, and his friends Mason Mount. I think Mount is there, so I think Chelsea will be the first choice. I can't lie, I would really like Rice at Man United. But if he joins Chelsea, then I'll take Basuma. Fair enough. I hear that. I do hear that. 30 likes already. Thank you very, very much. Next aim is 50 likes. The link is in the chat. I've opened it up. I want to talk Callum Hudson Odoi. Before I put the link in the chat, please come in and let's talk about Hudson Odoi. I don't really want to talk too much about it. We will talk about other things a bit later, but I really want to delve into this. I really want to understand your views of viewers on Callum Hudson Odoi, your thoughts on him. Can he excel at Chelsea? Can he progress at Chelsea? You may disagree with what I said. Maybe you're a Hudson Odoi fan. You think he deserves, all the time in the world at Chelsea. Tell me why. Tell me what you've seen. If Oscar's in the chat, he's a big Hudson Odoi defender. Make sure you come in, Oscar. I want to know what your reasonings are. I want to know. Tell me. Persuade me. Johnny will probably come in soon as well. I know Johnny feels a bit the same like me with Callum Hudson Odoi. The link is in the chat, people. Come in and have your say from now. Big up to all you guys as well on that. So we're going to start off with man like Wayne. Wayne Moles is in the house. What are you saying, bro?
Not much. How you doing, Jeremy? Good?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Not bad at all. So what are your thoughts, Wayne, on Callum Hudson Odoi? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? How do you feel about him as an individual?
I partly agree because the thing is with him, he's had opportunities, like you said,
Mm.
and he's taken them here, but he's not done it consistently. He's just
Yeah.
maybe 1-2 games, then he's just fallen off a cliff again, and then he doesn't. Like you said, he got subbed off. Came on, got subbed off, and
Mm.
he had a stinker. But then the week after, he played brilliantly against Atletico Madrid, I believe it was.
Yeah.
He had it first second. He had a brilliant game. But the thing is with me is I don't want him going to another Premiership club if we loan him out or sell him because
Yeah.
I just don't think that'd be a good move. I think he'd
Right.
be better off maybe Bundesliga for me.
Mm.
I think not. If I be honest, I would try and do. If I could do a swap deal with him and Sancho, I probably would. The reason why I just think Sancho is further along on his progress than Hudson Odoi is at the moment.
I hear that, and to be honest, this is my thing. If Chelsea go for a Sancho, if Chelsea want a Sancho at their club, who goes? Who goes for you? Who do you think will come in? Who do you? I mean, if he comes in, who do you think will go out? Do you think it would be a Ziyech? Do you think there's a chance that Hudson Odoi it might be the end of the road for him, or could we see a Hudson Odoi and a Sancho in the same team? I don't know. You tell me.
I personally, I'd rather get Villa Ziyech because I don't, like you said, I don't like his mannerism. I just don't like how he goes about the football.
Yeah.
But to be honest, looking at how Tuchel plays and now what he's done so far, I could easily see it Hudson Odoi because he's the one who's not got the game time out of all the forwards in that position. Everyone else has been given the free time to play.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, mate. To be honest, I know Oscar's backstage. I want to get Oscar in because he is a Hudson Odoi defender. It is probably the right words to say. And I'm not saying that I'm against him, Oscar. You know that. You've probably listened to me and what I've said about him and how I feel. And it's not that I don't like him. It's just that I feel like maybe we're limiting him. But anyway, you tell us. It's your turn.
No, I'll be. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah. Go on.
Right, I'll be open and honest. Innit? Hudson Odoi is my favorite player. He's been my favorite player since Sarri days. So, yeah, it is what it is. But I some of the things I disagree with in what you said is the idea that he hasn't taken his chances. I feel like that's extremely harsh. Like the kid is our youngest player in our squad that we actually play, 20 years old. Like Mason Mount's super young, Pulisic super young, Havertz and all these guys. Hudson is just a little bit younger than those guys. So I think we need to cut him some slack. And also, when he has played, I feel like he has taken his chances. I feel like under Lampard, let's say, if I give you an example, he played away in the Champions League against Rennes. Do you remember that game?
Yeah.
Hudson Odoi scored that day, right?
Okay.
He played a brilliant ball into Werner, and Werner had an awful miss, like from an open goal. Should have got an assist, but it was robbed from him. But the next game, we played Tottenham in the league. Hudson Odoi is not in the starting 11, not even in the squad after having a brilliant performance away in Europe. Yeah, that's him on the left wing. Then he plays, that's him on the right wing. He's played really well on the left wing for Chelsea against Everton this season. He was really brilliant. Havertz had a great game that day. Him and Havertz combined really well. The next game again, he's not in the squad. And also, when Tuchel comes in, Tuchel came in his first game, played him at right wing back, a position he'd never played all season. Hudson Odoi got man of the match in the first game, man of the match in the second game, back-to-back man of the matches in a position he'd never played. Now, how many times do you hear Chelsea fans giving excuses for players who are played out of position, and that's the reason they don't perform well? Yeah. I've heard people say, oh, Havertz is playing on the right wing. That's why he didn't have a good game. Mason Mount is playing in the 6. That's why he didn't have a good game. He's better forward. Or when Lampard played Werner on the left. So many excuses for those kind of players. No excuses for Hudson Odoi when in the limited games he's had, he's performed relatively well in most of them.
Yeah, look, do you know what it is for me? I agree with what you're saying. I just don't feel that he's taken. I don't think he's elevated. I feel like he's got all the talent in the world, but I don't feel like he elevates himself to the level that I think. So when he's given the opportunities in games, I feel like he could be doing more. And I know you're saying you feel like he's took his chances, and I don't blame him for when we lose games, because there's been games where we're behind and we throw Callum Hudson Odoi on, and you want him to be the winning man, and he's just not going to do that. He's not that player yet. I put him in the bracket of I want him to be like an Hazard, where they come on the pitch and they can change the game for you. He's got the talent to do that. We know that he can create. But his final third lets him down. I think in front of goal, he's quite poor. I think he's quite poor in front of goal. You know, I think it's certain things he needs to work to, but he is still very young. Now, my issue with Callum Hudson Odoi is, will Chelsea as a football club allow him to progress and become the player that we know that he could potentially become? That's my only issue with him. And I just don't know. If you look at all the managers, because everyone digged out Frank Lampard, let's be serious. Oh, Mason Mount playing on the left. He doesn't know what he's fucking doing because, you know, he's got Callum Hudson Odoi on the bench. Tuchel's come in. We started winning games. You ain't heard one talk about Callum Hudson Odoi. Do you know what I mean? And this is a manager that's got experience.
I've been talking about Hudson Odoi even under Tuchel. I've still been complaining.
Fair enough. You, maybe. It's been a lot more quiet, hasn't it, in terms of Callum Hudson Odoi since Tuchel's walked through the door. But the thing for me is, it's not like if Tuchel can't give, if he can't cement himself and Tuchel's not giving him that, and Lampard's giving him dabs as well, what is it that he's doing fucking wrong then? Why can't he just consistently play day in, day out? Why is Mason Mount able to do it, but Callum Hudson Odoi can't? That's what I'm trying to understand.
Well, for a club the size of Chelsea, I don't think a 20-year-old needs to be playing every single week. I don't expect Hudson Odoi to play the big games when we're in a semi-final against Real Madrid. I don't expect Hudson Odoi to come in that game and be our star man. We have bought players on big money that should be performing in those types of games. My point is, when we are drawing 0-0 at home with Brighton, when we're drawing 0-0 at home with Brighton, when we're drawing 0-0 with Leeds, when we're 1-0 down at home to Arsenal, we're chucking Hudson Odoi on. If we should sell this guy or maybe give him out on loan, then at least have a team that's challenging for the league. At least have a team that's good enough. We're on the last day of the season begging for top 4. We need Callum Hudson Odoi right now. We need him because the players that we've bought in replace of him are not performing. So I feel like it's harsh to say that he needs to go out on loan. No, look, the other players need to go.
You don't think a loan move may help progressive? Now, if Lampard is going to go Palace and there's an opportunity for him to go Palace, would it not be a good thing for him to be able to just go out and maybe get the minutes that he needs, and then we can see and look, and then take it, look at the end of the season and say, look, he played 15 or 16 games under Lampard consecutively. This is what he did. How many assists? How many goals? Yep, because at the moment I feel like you can't do that with him.
I have no doubts that if he went out on loan, it would be better for him. Like, it would be way better for him. He needs to play games. Clearly, he needs to. But I just think we still need him at Chelsea. I'm going to shut up and let someone else talk. But I think we need him at Chelsea. We need him to play.
I want to go to Johnny on this one. Johnny,
yo, what's happening? How we doing?
How do you feel about Callum Hudson Odoi? I don't know whether you're on the Oscar side of things or the Gem side of things, or you're in the middle of both. How do you feel about Callum Hudson Odoi as an individual at Chelsea?
Well, I'm on the Johnny side of things. So when I say that, I'd say Odoi by far is extremely talented, a wonderful, talented player. I think where the fan base misconstrues is, Lampard didn't play him and this and that. There was a reason why he wasn't played. And the reason he wasn't played was in that time, defensively, we were very frail. Lamps couldn't risk it. And he was still coming back from that really bad injury he had. Okay? So that's the reason he hasn't been eased in. Since Tuchel's come in, Odoi's been fit and ready to play. Because before, when Lampard was in charge, Odoi did say, he came out and said, look, the gaffer knows what I need, and I wasn't ready earlier on in the season. So he's already admitted that, yet the fans still think Lampard chose not to play him and play Mason Mount where he played him on the wing. That wasn't the case, because if Cho was actually fit and ready, Lamps would play him. There wouldn't have been a question. But in terms of right now, I still think that Oscar will disagree, but I've said it, that the Southampton game, when he brought him on as a sub and he took him off, a player like Cho, from what I've seen, and I've seen the way Tuchel acts with him after games, whether it's good or bad, I just feel like he's that player that needs a lot of encouragement, an arm over his shoulder continuously. I don't think Lampard gave that to him personally when Lampard was in charge, because I think Lampard was kind of this whole no-nonsense mentality with a lot of the players, even experienced players. But with Tuchel in, you see, like, he shows a lot of love, so to speak. It's a bit cliche. He shows a lot of love to Cho. and I think the Southampton decision threw Cho off a bit. Even though he played him straight after, I just felt it threw him off. And since then, he's for some reason, I think it's just down to the importance of the games, because I think Tuchel's still trying to work out with Cho whether he likes him as a wing back or whether he really wants him in the front three in this formation. So I wouldn't loan out Cho.
I prefer him as a wing back, Johnny. I don't know about you, but I think he's in the front three. I think he's put better performances as a wing back than he has in a front three. But that's my preference.
I'll be honest. The Everton game he played on the front left, if I remember. I think he did. He was front left, and he was second to Havertz man of the match for me. So the problem he's got is he's got.
Who's that, Darren?
He's got Werner that can play on the left side. He's got Pulisic. He's got himself. That's the problem. We haven't really got a right-sided player. So if Cho's gonna play, he's gonna have to play on the right side and cut in with his left. And that's the problem. You got two, because Pulisic we know ain't as great on the right, and Werner can only play on that left side. Really, he can play on the right, but he has to drift in the middle at the very least. So that's where I think I feel with Cho. I'm going to say this, and then others can have a say. I think with Cho is when he's been given the opportunity, he's not quite grasped it enough.
Grasp it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But that's also down to him not being able to have any game momentum as well.
Yeah,
you do need some sort of momentum, because Pulisic we saw at the start when he was eased in, he wasn't really doing that much. He was pretty poor, to be honest. But the more and more Tuchel stuck with him, now you're starting to see Pulisic come to fruition.
Yeah, I hear that. I do.
So that's the way I look at Cho at the minute. I wouldn't loan him out though. Hell no. I ain't loaning Cho.
Delio's saying about if give Hudson Odoi a 2-year loan at Dortmund and plus cash to get Sancho, that's never going to happen because Dortmund would never work like that, And it is what it is. But Klasev's here, and I'd love to know what Klasev feels about Callum Hudson Odoi. Klasev, tell us.
Yeah. I think he has grasped his opportunity. Even the so-called bad game he had against Arsenal, he did make a great pass to Pulisic, which Pulisic failed to score a goal. I think I've never seen a technically so inclined English player. He is one of the most talented players I've seen in my life. He's only 20. For example, if he was playing for Borussia Dortmund or for Bayern Munich, he would be Gnabry and Sancho. I can't see him. I can't see him being loaned out. I think Tuchel is very, very keen on him. He's going to sort out his signings, and then he's going to be like, okay, at what formation I put Hudson Odoi? He's not going anywhere. I'm telling you right now, Hudson Odoi is one of the most talented English players ever born.
You know what, Kazrev? You've just spring something. I think Tuchel's already told Cho, you're in my plans next season, and that's why Cho's not really like most players would kick up a bit of a stink, I feel. And if anyone's going to kick up a stink, Cho would say something. He would say something, whether it be through social media or whatever. He would say something, and I think Tuchel's already told him, look, you're in my plans next year. Look, I'm going to see how it goes this year. We've got really important games. Do
you not feel like with Callum Hudson Odoi, and I said this earlier before I got you guys in, do you not feel like sometimes when you watch him, that we all know he's got abundance of talent. He could be a Sancho for Chelsea if he wanted to, but sometimes I feel like
he's different.
He limits himself. Like he gets the ball, and I want him to just drive. You know he's got the guy, but he decides to stop and do that easy sideward pass. And one of the things that catches me with him is that he'll make the pass. And his movement, I expect him to do like a 1-2 or try and dart around and get. He doesn't really do that. He kind of he likes the idea of just doing like an easy 1-2 and receiving it back. And sometimes I want his movement to be better, especially in the final third. And that might come.
For me, that's a quality Ronaldo did not have when he was young. He was taking the ball himself, and he was missing a lot of chances. Hudson Odoi mentality is that you get the ball. I know you can run, you can get over past other players, but try to just pass the ball to the left. And he's trying to do that. And people are saying that's not a good sign of a player. I think that's a really good sign of a player. He's
He
passing a
just
ball.
needs to be man managed correctly. And
Maybe.
Tuchel is that guy. Tuchel is that guy. Trust me, he loves Cho. He
Is
loves
Tuchel
Cho.
going to give him the minutes though? That's my problem
will-
with it.
he-
We're
I
going to
think
see
that-
that progression.
Yeah,
you
next
know?
season I do, Jem. Next season I think he will. I mean, why would he
Yeah.
not? He's too
Well, a
good
lot
of
will
a
tell
player.
if Chelsea sign wingers, because if we bring in wingers that are costing us, then the board are going to expect them to play, which I think will then
We're not
limit
going to
time
sign
for Callum Hudson
Sancho,
Odoi.
bro. We're not signing Sancho.
No, but forget a Sancho. I don't know
Sancho's
whoever.
going United. He's going to go United. We won't.
Yeah,
What
all
winger? What winger are we going to sign? Really, realistically, who are we looking? I don't even think we're looking at
maybe a
anyone.
Neto, for example. He could
Nah.
potentially become available.
I think
You know,
I
if
think
needed.
Sancho's the only one. Sancho's the only one we'd even consider going for. I don't
Yeah.
see us
Yeah.
going for them.
Well, Darren,
I
you
don't
start
I
talking.
don't even think Sancho good enough compared to Odoi. I think they are both same levels, and I don't care what people say to me. I think they are both.
Pastor,
I,
hold
I
on,
think
hold
that's
on.
this is
I think that's
And
unfair to say.
class
Sancho-
of all I'm going to say, right?
Sancho's proven last season,
He's
especially his assists and goals are ridiculous. I know
You
it's
can't
Bundesliga
compare him. You
tax.
can't
I
compare
get
him, man.
that, but at the end of the day, he still delivered. Yeah,
in
But with-
principle.
And
but
don't
with
forget
Cho,
class.
Cho's got equal talent. I agree.
Odoi
with
has
that.
80
Talent-
million on him, and Sancho
talent
has
wise,
80
yeah.
also. So
I,
they're-
I, I
No,
think
but-
I think Sancho is like Hudson Odoi with opportunities, and when you have the opportunities and you take them, then you can't really say that the person who hasn't had the opportunities is better because we haven't seen it. But Sancho is proven to be better in the Champions League and in the Premier League. I mean, in the Bundesliga. So it's just a matter of time for Cho to develop, and we see how he fares over a 38-game season.
I think Greenwood's going to be better than both of them.
Oh,
Nah.
Greenwood's
And
I
the
don't
reason-
think
the
so.
re-
Well, they're different
they're
players.
different.
No, but Greenwood's going to be converted to a striker, so it's not you're not really going to compare them because Greenwood's not really a winger
Yeah.
for me. He's more of a
Oh, yeah.
striker.
Yeah.
But Greenwood is exceptional talent.
But
Exceptional
like
talent.
Johnny, what are you trying to mean? Better as an overall player, or better in terms of like finishing and all that?
Oh, finishing end product,
Yeah.
he's unbelievable.
Oh
Yeah,
He
if you're
doesn't-
gonna say end
He's so
product, then
clinical
that's
for a
right.
kid. He's so clinical.
Hassan,
for a
how
kid.
do you feel about Callum Hudson Odoi, bro? Do you think Chelsea should keep him? Do you think we should loan him? Like, what would you do with him?
You know, it's a bit of a weird one, really, because we all know his talent. But the question is, though, is he willing to fight for his place? Is he willing to sacrifice a full 38-game season? Would he rather be loaned out to a different team where he can get all the week in, week out game time? Or is he going to stay here and fight for his place? It's a bit of a question, really. Because I'm thinking there is a possibility that we'll sign Sancho. If we get Sancho, then well, what's it going to be for Cho then? Is he just going to stay as a right wing back, or I don't know? Like, it's a bit hard to tell, really. Like,
Sorry, Hassan, I've just got done by Josh's comment. This Arsenal fan is so deluded, man. Like, you're not getting any of them. Yeah, let's be serious. Maybe Basuma if you're lucky, but you're not getting any of them.
no, but can I say something to a comment? You do
Go on.
realize you sacked Gunnosaurus at 55 staff for Williams' wage, and you're out here thinking you're going to get all of them.
That is true.
Exactly, man.
Go on, Hassan, what you gonna say, bro? Go on.
No, I was just gonna say it's a bit of a weird one. I don't know. Whatever the manager does, I'm gonna have to back here because I've seen his talent. If he's not in his plan, he's not in his plan. If he is in his plan, he is in his plan. Just don't know. Like,
I'm going to pose a question you at the end after I've asked Alex and Darren. I've got a question. It's probably an easy answer, but we'll get to it. But Alex, go on, bro. What's your thoughts on it?
Yo, all good guys. How you, Jem? All right. But,
Not bad, bro. Not bad.
Big up, Alex.
Man, I'm in the middle with this. I've been in the middle since he's been at Chelsea. I think I've been in the middle since before Lampard took over. I think we all know he's a very talented guy. Sometimes I find him quite frustrating. I think he's still young. Look, this is how I would put it. Of all places, right, for a young player to develop, the last player who I think was a young player that actually who developed in the Premier League at a young age was Wayne Rooney, right? No, it's hard, yeah, for any young player. Yes, we can look at the likes of Mount, we can look at likes of Reece James and other players, Ben Foden. But of all places, for especially an attacking winger or an attacking for an attacking phase to develop in the Premier League, there's not a lot of players that can't have that. You know what I mean? He's still 20 years old, and of all places for him to develop, the Premier League is the hardest league to develop. So
Yeah.
But look, I still think I'm in the middle of it. As I said, I think the other kind of reason to maybe why I would put to it also is that I think the problem with us is that we're relying too much on young players, right? So the likes of Mount, the likes of Hudson Odoi, the likes of these other Reece James, right? Because we don't have players in front of them who are at the top level, right? So then we think that we have to rely on these young players and we have to criticize them. And I think that is a bit wrong. He's still a 20-year-old, and I think yes, people will say, "Oh, he should be doing it now," and look what the likes of Sancho and these other players are doing it. But you know what I mean? It's I'm in the middle, and
It's a tricky one.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. But look, I still criticize him, and I think sometimes, man, he can still be very bang average for what he should be doing. Like, I find it frustrating with him.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Alex. I think the word that you said there is bang on. Frustration. Frustration for me is the thing with Callum Hudson Odoi, because I know he can do it. I know he could become that player, but I don't know what it is.
It's just composure, Jem. It's the composure.
It's composure. Playing to your strengths. Play to your strengths. You know you're a good dribbler. You know you've got pace. You know you can beat that man.
Cool,
just do it. Do it more.
All the young players we have in our team, like even Mount, even Hudson Odoi, even Pulisic, who's young, even Havertz, they're all still missing. They're all still really missing. Not consistency, but they're still missing that composure. Because they're still young players and they're still developing. You know, to be a full-grown adult, I think it's like 25, right? They're not even adults yet. They're not even like full-grown adults. So to be honest, I wouldn't put too much pressure on them. But at the same time, this is Chelsea, and the problem is we have to win now, and we're not Dortmund where we're gonna let the player grow and give him years to develop. We're not that team, and it's sad to say. And
that is it, Alex. That is what I said at the beginning. It's Chelsea don't give time to youngsters. It's very clear and evident that we just don't do that. And
the only time we give them time is that if they're doing the likes of Mount or Reece James, where they're just like, they just went for it and they've started and they've just, blown everyone out. You know what I mean? They're just playing so well. So it's hard. It is. Look, it is. The only other thing. Sorry, Joe. I was talking.
Go on.
The other thing that I would say though is like I've been hearing some other people also say that. So, like for example, Pulisic and Havertz, for them, they've also had a very inconsistent season. Both of them. Yes, Havertz had COVID and stuff, but even Pulisic has been very inconsistent. But so why is Pulisic maybe getting more of a chance than Hudson Odoi? There must be reasons to why there. And look, I wouldn't also judge it. Look, I'll give this season off Hudson Odoi because he was under Lampard. He didn't play under Lampard. Under Tuchel, I think Tuchel is just trying to get the best team. He's trying to really get top four. He's getting the best what he's got at the moment.
Yeah.
And then I think over the summer we'll see him maybe develop into another player. And look, Callum Hudson Odoi's best position for me is left winger. He's a left winger. He likes to play in his right foot. We haven't seen that this season. We haven't seen that enough. And I think for a young player, you need to play 3 or 4 games to get a run of games. And he hasn't had that in his natural position that he's been playing since he was a teenager.
I get that. And at the same time, he's been asked to play in a position that he's never played before in right wing back. I think he's done pretty well in it. He's come in and he's, in my eyes, I think he looks quite good there. It was a game we played at home. I can't remember who it was, and it was the last game he played as a right wing back, and he was devastating. Like he was causing so many problems down that wing. They just couldn't handle him. And we'll just have to see. But Darren's here. Darren, big up to you, my man. How you doing? You all right?
Yeah, what's good, man? Yeah, I'm good, guys. Yeah, my take.
What's your thoughts?
My take on this, I don't know, man. I feel like the last person to be criticizing quite heavily is Hudson Odoi. Like just for context regarding Hudson Odoi, he's had an Achilles injury, similar to Loftus-Cheek as well, and you can see. Look at Loftus-Cheek at Fulham. He's clearly struggled as much as he has because that's a big injury. So your dribbling, your speed, which I think is Hudson Odoi's 2 biggest assets.
Yeah.
You need to get that back. And to get that back and not play consistently is already a big issue.
Very hard.
Now, I've seen some stats. Exactly, very hard. I've got an injury and I ain't got an Achilles, but for sprinting, that's like really massive. Now, I've seen stats of the minutes played by all the Chelsea players this season. Do you know where Hudson Odoi comes out of all the players, like in
Pretty
the
last,
squad?
isn't it?
He's pretty much only ahead of Kepa, Gilmore, Emerson, Kepa, Giroud, Alonso, and Tammy Abraham. They're the only players who have less minutes than him this season. And bear in mind as well, all of those players play their respective positions. Hudson Odoi has played left wing, right wing back, on and off. Like clearly, for him to be behind Ziyech, Christensen, Pulisic, Havertz, Kovacic, and a lot of these guys have been injured throughout the season as well. He's still played less than all of them, and he's played in so many different positions. So for me, the whole criticism on him, it doesn't. I don't really see it. I get that he doesn't, and I agree. I'll be the first one to say he doesn't play. Sometimes he's not on it, but also some games he does play well. Certain positions in the front forward line, he's not on it because clearly it's like he's not used to the position. He doesn't know what he's meant to do sometimes, and you can expect that from youngsters that don't play regularly. Now, also with Hudson Odoi, for me, context. If I look at him before Lampard, before all the new young boys came in, I remember Hudson Odoi. I won't say carrying, but he fought his way into the team with Sarri. Sarri said, "We'll keep you because we like you" in the preseason. He didn't start. He waited. He worked in training, worked his way all the way up until earning Sarri's trust to start playing. And in that Europa League, where we won the title, obviously up until he got injured, he missed the final. He was very key in all of that run-up. He assisted Giroud so many times. Got a few goals here and there, mainly cup games and such. But whenever he played well. He took his chance then. That's how he established himself.
Sorry, was under pressure because of the Bayern Munich circle.
But the problem with Odoi has never been his ability. It's always been his attitude. Whenever you hear managers talk about like why they don't play him or why they don't use him, it's about apparently he's like lazy in training, and
I've heard this.
He has that Hazard attitude. And the problem with Odoi is he hasn't given enough to Chelsea yet to have that lazy attitude in training.
He has got that. Yeah, you're right. He has got that, and that's been his downfall.
But when you guys and I hear that, I don't mind concede that may be the case. But when you guys watch him play, if he plays right wing back, do you not feel like he's been lazy? The same way he's fucking lazy.
I don't think that's the issue. I think Tuchel expects more from him, and sometimes I don't feel like he's
fair enough.
Especially when he's playing out of
position. Sorry, I'd say this. Yeah, when you're playing a wing back and you're putting Odoi in wing back, he's improved his defensive game, which is why he's been put there. Number one. Number two, when you go forward, you look to Odoi for more flair and penetration up front than you do it. Reece James. Reece James will give you that quality ball, but Cho has the ability, like Victor Moses had for us under Conte, where he could actually dribble, make something happen, commit fouls from the opposition, and Cho hasn't quite grasped that. But when he played against Everton on the front left, he was deadly. He was so good.
The right wing back.
So it's getting the balance between the two. Is what I'm saying.
The problem with Odoi is that he's like every all of our players are like good on the left, and Odoi, out of all of the players that can play on the left, I personally feel like Odoi is the worst out of all of them, and
So
maybe not on ability, but based on like everything, based on output and the amount of
compared to who?
So Timo Werner convinces you. Timo Werner on the left then, yeah?
No, wait. Let me just tell you this. I'm not a fan of Werner. I don't think Werner's good, but what Werner does for the team is more of like it's something different. It's something different. If you understand,
I'm not convinced, man. I'm sorry, I'm not.
Look, he's not.
Werner's a baller.
Cho is not competing with Werner for a space, and I agree with that respect. Like they offer different things, but I like compared to how much opportunities have been given to players like Pulisic and Ziyech, I don't see how you can say to me those players have grasped the opportunity more than Callum Hudson Odoi. Those guys have failed on the biggest stage on multiple occasions, and I think
because
Then does that go
because
to
Yeah,
the
but
behind the scenes issue?
because
Isn't
when
that behind the
because
scenes issue?
because Odoi because Pulisic and Ziyech, they according to many managers or according to Tuchel, they give 100% on the pitch, whether it doesn't look like it on whether it looks like it or not. They give their best, and I guess with Odoi is that people expect much more from him. People expect him to do
Yeah.
better because
Wait.
let's not get it twisted. Like 2 years ago, he had that great Europa League run, and we expected so much more.
He set
I
the bar
think, I
high,
think,
very high.
and I think that's the problem. I think
so.
that
Who do you expect more
That Europa League run set the bar for Odoi, which I don't know if he can keep it consistently.
Who's the guy before that spoke?
Yeah.
Darren, he said
Johnny,
about
can I
the
ask you a question?
Achilles injury. That was a bad injury, man.
It was a
Yeah,
bad
big
injury. It
Yeah,
was.
it takes a long time. Takes a long
It
time
was.
to come back
And,
from that.
It was.
and Johnny, can I just ask you
Yeah.
a question here? You mentioned
Yeah.
about you mentioned the left wing position. He played pretty well against Everton. Then you
Yeah.
sort of mentioned as well that right wing back, he should do more. Something along the lines of he should do more when he's right wing back. But
Yeah.
when Tuchel first came in and then put Hudson Odoi right back, dropped him out, I think, for somebody else, and then put Hudson Odoi right wing back, he got 2 man of the matches on the bounce, didn't he? So
Back-to-back.
in a game like that, what more do you want him to do in that right wing back position? Because he just got dropped after that, not because he played shit or anything along those lines,
What?
just because Reece James
I
started
think
to play.
Yeah.
because
I
he didn't
think
do
he's
it.
I
So
think he's
what more
viewed
do you
more
expect
as
from him there?
I think he's viewed more as a left wing back, but the reason he doesn't play him left wing back is because he's not a strong enough insurance policy for a Chilwell or an Alonso. So he
I
feels
don't think he
Tuchel.
can play left wing back
I think he can.
No.
He's left footed, man.
because
Of course he can.
Hudson Odoi is right footed and
He's both footed.
Hudson's right footed.
Well, he's both.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess
he's,
both footed.
he's predominantly right footed, and I think when you play left wing back, you hug the touchline a little bit more so he can cross the ball in when he gets into forward positions. Whereas on the left hand side, he likes to cut in on the left. You don't want your wing back cutting in. You want like your winger cutting in.
No,
Or
but if
inside
you've got
forward.
but if you've got a better Chilwell or a better player in form like a Chilwell, who I think still will get better, but someone better on the left defensively, you won't worry about too much. I mean, he'll have to choose when it's the right time, and his decision making in the game will have to be precise.
Nah, I think the thing is, yeah.
No, but you see, but that's the thing. Yeah, so
Whenever he plays right,
I think he's better up front, personally. I think he's better up front.
I think.
But then
I
that's
just
the
think he
thing,
needs
though.
to be. Yeah, I think he just needs to be
Pulisic
more.
is too good.
I think he needs to be more. Like I keep saying it. He's got the talent. We know he can do
Is
it.
he?
He can.
Yeah, man. Pulisic
he
is
consistently-
unbelievable on his day. He's
on
he's
his
a
day,
game
he's
changer.
very, very good. But can he
Game changer.
consistently do that?
On
That's
his
the
day.
All he
point.
needs to do is take risks. Take risks. That's all he needs to do, man. He needs to take risks.
Who needs to take risks?
Hudson Odoi, because like back in like when he's under 21, he used to like go
I
past
agree with
players, this that.
Yeah,
Now
his
he can't. Now he's scared
his
to
fear
take a man.
factor's gone.
Now he's scared because
No,
of the
but
injury,
that-
Achilles injury, to take a man on. That's why, man.
The thing, but that's the thing, guys. How can you
It's not just the
expect
injury.
somebody?
It's not just
How
the
can you
injury
expect
too.
somebody who's on an injury, who from his injury doesn't get regular time to now, play with no fear, play especially. But how can you expect
When you,
that when he comes back from injury and he doesn't play regularly?
When you're given the opportunity, guys, when you're given the opportunity, and I know he's been given limited opportunities, when he's given that, he needs to just put he needs to give his everything. He can't be slouching around throughout the game. You know what I mean? Like I'm not saying he does that because I think when he does come on,
he's a young player.
he does play very well.
Game
But sometimes I feel like he limits himself.
When he came on in that Arsenal game, it was a joke.
Himself.
It was a joke. He was awful.
But okay. For example, you guys are using, let's say, the Arsenal game, right? Let's say Arsenal game.
I'm looking at the recent games. The recent games.
But let's say the Arsenal game. Yeah, let's use that as an example. That
It was
Arsenal
poor.
game, Arsenal decided to sit back in banks of 6 at the back or 5 at the back, and because us as a team, we just struggle breaking down. So we bring on Hudson Odoi. who didn't start that game, so that means everybody else who was attacking was also terrible. Hudson Odoi then comes on in one of the front threes where he hasn't played regularly out of all the rest of the attackers in that front three, and now we expect Hudson Odoi to be the best one out of all.
It's not that you expect him to be the best. You're expecting him
a
to
big performance.
Not even that.
You expect a big
Here's
performance.
what I'll say. Can I say something about that Arsenal game? Just because Hudson Odoi was terrible that day, and even me as a huge fan, I'm not going to back up and say he was great. My point with him though is Hudson Odoi, the type of player he is, he's a lot more of a playmaker. So when he does come on, the ball always tends to come to him because he's trying to make stuff happen. In that game, other players were like, they go invisible sometimes. Hudson Odoi is not the kind of player that you don't see him on the pitch. He's always going to be involved. And if he has a bad game, it's loud because he's going to consistently have the ball, consistently make crosses, consistently make passes. And if he has a good game, he's instrumental because he's the playmaker. So the nature of his role, that's why after that game, Hudson Odoi only played 45 minutes. Pulisic played 90 minutes. Havertz played about 70 minutes and missed the sitter. Nobody criticised those players. You only criticise Hudson Odoi because he was all over the pitch in the game.
Oscar, how old is Odoi now? He's 20?
20.
Right.
20.
Okay, he's 20 years old. The guy's had one of the worst injuries you can have as a player. All right. He's set a high ceiling for himself, especially to the fans. Right, he's come in under two managers now. One of them was less experienced than the one we have now. Okay, and he's ready, kind of, to be eased in. When Odoi played for Everton and he played against City away when we won, they're the two games that I rate him highly. He performed, but what you will have, no matter what, with a player like Odoi is inconsistency at this age. He's not going to be like Mason Mount, consistent pretty much every game. Every youngster we have is not consistent.
Even Mason Mount is inconsistent to a certain extent.
Very rarely.
Obviously, but
because this season he's probably had a couple games I can bring up where he hasn't really played.
Odoi, but he's going to have that.
Of course. But Odoi's going to have it more. He's younger and less experienced.
The problem with Odoi is that the position that Odoi flourishes in is a position that we have a lot of great players that play there. Obviously, Pulisic.
Oh, you're too close to the mic, man.
Yeah, you're too close to the mic. It's like
yes.
Oh, sorry. We have Pulisic. We have what's it called, like Mount's like in the half spaces around, not exactly left wing, but like in those left wing areas. And obviously like Odoi's there, and Werner at times goes to the left wing. I think like I don't know what it is about Odoi, but I personally just think it's a case of his first season where he had that Europa League run has set the bar for him so high because he was so consistent in that Europa League run and so consistently good. It's set a bar for him, which I don't know if he can reach right now.
That's my point.
But you know,
he can reach
when you guys, you know when you guys
can
say
reach
that he set the bar so that high.
Can
do you know
do
how many
it
goals and assists he
Yes,
got
he can, Jim. Yes, he can.
I don't know.
But I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to land this, right?
We don't know, though, do we?
No, hold on.
I don't know. And he'll be given the progression. Why? Because we give him the minutes.
Right,
we don't give him the minutes.
Let me put you.
So why
Let me put you this.
Have a point on this?
One second. So right now, you've got the front three predominantly. Mount is undroppable right now, so that leaves you two spaces. The other two spaces are going to fall to either Pulisic and Werner, all right, or Havertz potentially right now, because Tammy and Giroud are not even getting a look in. So that means Adoi's only option really is right wing back. If you're looking at right wing back, if you look at the Real Madrid game, he played Azpilicueta right wing back, didn't he? Yeah, or it was James and Aspi on the right. All right. So right now there's a reason why Tuchel's done that. Because the games are of such a high magnitude, it's too much of a risk when you've already got two options in that position and your front three are playing well to an extent. Because don't get me wrong, our front three is still poor. We're not delivering.
We're not clinical enough.
Yeah. So if I think next season is going to be a fresh slate for Cho. with Tuchel, where he's going to get a lot more minutes.
Cho
And I don't
has
doubt
to.
that.
Cho has to go next season.
Can I have
In my
Bucky?
opinion, if Cho still feels like he can do as well as a Sancho, as well as a Mount, or as what people think Mount is going to be, or what Saka's doing right now, he has to leave. He
No,
has to
but
leave. Is
why
either he goes,
people
it's either he
me the
goes.
money.
no, but why
Yeah,
are
We
people
only
why
have
are
three
people
wingers
mentioning
though.
Saka?
We only have 3 wingers in our club though.
Can we
Yeah,
forget
he has
Saka?
to.
We can't
Why
compare.
is there
Yeah,
why is there
yeah.
pressure for Callum Hudson Odoi to do well, man? He's only like 20 years old, bro.
I need to
But
speak
either
something
way,
about Callum
Go on,
Hudson.
Classic. Let's
Listen,
let Classic talk.
yeah, go on.
listen. The reason Odoi is not playing is nothing to do with his ability. We have signed players like Ziyech and Pulisic. They have in their contract a playing time. I think people say like Hudson Odoi picked the contract of 120k is it on his benefit. I actually think Tammy Abraham is more intelligent. He didn't sign the contract, and Odoi signed the contract without the time phase. Like he's not supposed to be like, oh, you're gonna get 90 minutes in this game, blah blah blah. The reason right now Pulisic and Ziyech are getting more time is because they have in their contracts a time limit that they have to play that much of a time. So for that reason, Adoi is not getting picked up, and he's been secured with 120k. People tell me like 120k is actually good for Hudson Odoi. I think it's shit because he's not getting enough play time. Then I think he should have
It,
been more intelligent and decided for a play time contract.
wait. Did you say 120k is not good for Hudson Odoi? Do you know how much
He's 20
Mason
years
Mount
old, bro.
I'm not
and
saying
other
that.
kids are on?
No,
No,
he's saying
do you
Listen,
know that?
Classic.
he's not saying the money.
Name me another
I'm
20-year-old that gets his wage.
would be better
Okay,
for
wait.
him.
Say it
I
at
don't
the
think
beginning.
I
Sorry,
don't think you guys are listening to what he's saying. He's saying the contract itself. Obviously, the money is good. Everybody would love that kind of money. What he's saying is the weight of the contract hinders Hudson Odoi because the other players coming in are higher in the pecking order than him. Yet he's on a big money deal. So it's not good. It's not good for the benefit of his career if he's on that money when he's not playing.
Yeah, but
there's
then that's
also
down to his
I
agent
can't say.
and Bayern Munich
I-
come
Yeah,
sniffing, isn't it?
contract
That's,
But,
I mean, that's the nature of the game.
Guys,
We've
Yeah,
got
Could
to
I just say one quick thing? Like,
that's another thing. Even if Cho went to Bayern Munich,
he wouldn't be playing every game.
he
Yes, he
wouldn't be
would.
playing. He
He
wouldn't
wouldn't
be
play
playing.
every
What,
game.
Ivan
No.
Gnabry?
Okay, wait.
Who's he getting
Let me speak. Let me
Who's he
speak.
getting in for?
Don't be
Wait, let me
silly.
speak. Let me
Definitely
speak.
would.
Let me
Who's he getting in
speak.
for?
Wait, let me speak.
Finish your
I
point.
think you would. I think you would.
Wait. Okay,
Right,
number
let's
one,
get
no, he
things
doesn't
going, and then
start.
we're going to go back to Oscar after. Go on.
He doesn't start over Sane. He doesn't start over Gnabry. He doesn't start over Kingsley Coman. He doesn't start over Douglas Costa that was there at the time. He doesn't start over James Rodriguez. So tell me, where's his game time coming from?
That's
Please.
Okay,
not how it
I'll
works.
tell you. I'll tell you.
no, but didn't they stop going to Cho because of Sonny? Like, wasn't like Cho meant to be the first choice and Sonny was the backup choice?
No, but
That's where that was from.
They wouldn't have signed
Listen.
some of those players if they'd signed Cho. You got to remember the time they were
Yeah,
looking
exactly.
at. They were looking at Cho.
They were looking at Sonny as well.
As soon as we rejected Cho, they bought Gnabry.
And do you know who they signed after? They signed Musiala from Chelsea's academy. They signed Musiala, brought him in, and he's made the German squad for the Euros. Are you telling me that Cho wouldn't have gone into that team and they wouldn't have found a system for him and used him?
Do you think they would have given him? Do you think they would have given him? He would have been starting
Yeah,
throughout.
but even
Achilles
Musiala, like
injury.
Musiala
Achilles injury. It would have been the same situation
He
at
would be a
Bayern.
rotation player, man.
He would have had to be eased in at Bayern, but the problem is, last year,
Guys, one at a time.
last year at Bayern, they had a phenomenal season. Cho's not getting in that side.
You can't compare.
He's
the
not.
Bundesliga
Cho
with
is not
Primoz.
getting in
No,
that
he
side.
won't. He's not.
He definitely would have.
He needed to be eased
Guys,
in. He needed to
guys,
be eased
can I
in,
explain-
and they're not going to ease him
can I
in
try
when they're
and
playing like
explain
that.
Boys, can I just stop you 2
it's
seconds
ridiculous.
before everyone goes? Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
Under what merit does Callum Hudson Odoi walk into a Bayern Munich team who are the best team in
He
Germany,
doesn't.
one Champions
doesn't.
League?
He
Does
doesn't.
walk
He
into that
doesn't.
team straight away?
It's
I've
nonsense.
never
You
seen
can
what I
say
need to understand.
you can say
I think his agent done us. I think his
I think
agent
it's
done us.
just to do with his contract.
Under what merit do they buy him for the money they were trying to buy him for?
They
buy
buy
him
him.
They were buying him for
Because they see
45.
potential in
They were
him. But
buying
that's
him for
Exactly.
45.
If you see potential in someone,
Odoi, I was saying Oscar. I was calling
yeah,
you
call
Odoi,
me
bro.
Odoi from now on.
Oscar, I was calling you Odoi.
But
Listen,
but-
yeah, I got Odoi on the brain, bro. The contract that we've given him equates to about 40 million, which is what Bayern Munich were going to pay.
Yeah.
So Chelsea were forced to pay about 40
But
million.
it doesn't guarantee him playing time, does it?
No, well, I
Yeah,
don't know.
no.
We don't
Yeah,
know what the
Mount
contract
gets
is,
that.
Kazra.
Mount
No
gets
one
that
knows what the
contract
contract
because
is.
his agent is clever. Hassan Odoi's agent is
No,
not
no,
clever.
Yeah, he's done us. He
Mount
done
doesn't
us.
need. No, Mount
That
doesn't
can
have
be
that.
No,
clever.
Mount earned his place.
But
I don't know. You're on about
but
contracts.
Do you know
guys,
what I
we
love
have to
about
have
I know
Mount is
how
that
Mount
he's
earns
earned
his
is
place.
exactly what Hassan said. He plays for
Yeah.
the badge. He plays because he wants to succeed. He doesn't care about
Yeah, but
money.
John,
He's
he
worth more
does the
money
knee
than
side
every
kicks
player
as
in our
well.
Mason
squad.
Mount has one of the best
Right. One at a
economy
time, man. One at
and
a
one of the
time.
best agents
Odoi
in the world.
needs to get back to his roots, man.
Mason
He needs
Mount,
to get back to his
Mason
roots.
Mount's agent
for
knows
me,
what contract he needs to sign to give him a play time. Don't tell me this shit that Mason Mount was one of the best players when he started it.
wait,
He
wait,
was
wait, wait.
shit
Yeah, he
all
was.
the
He was
time.
one of our best players
Wait,
last season.
what?
He's our best player
When
this
he
season.
started it.
Listen,
What are you talking about, Kazra?
Wait.
listen,
Oh, the Mount.
Klasa, he did not have a compulsory game time contract. He had to earn his place.
Listen,
Yeah,
nowadays,
but
Yeah, that's correct.
Mount
if the
was
club is
given
offering,
time to earn his place. Like I do, in the way that I back Joe is that, and I see the other side is that Mount and other players like Tomori last season and Rudiger now, Christensen, is that they've been given time to earn their place back. Cho hasn't. I don't think Cho has had that
No, but
amount of time.
then again,
Like,
I could
those-
argue that Sari got slated for not playing Cho. Lampard got slated for not
Yeah,
playing
yeah,
Cho. And now
they did. You're right.
that's three
but I think
managers
I
that
think
have not been playing it week in, week out.
yeah,
Two
but
of them have got slated for it.
but
It's
I
it's
not
don't
not
know
that,
why.
like I
the
think one
reason
thing
Cho got substituted was not that
one thing
he's rubbish in 10
one
minutes.
thing you have
It was
to
because Pulisic and Ziyech had their contracts. They had timing
Yes.
contracts. They need to
Yes.
play certain amount of time. If Cho would have played more than 10 minutes, then he would have been paid, something else. And Pulisic would have been paid more money than him. So they need to be careful about these things.
wait no but
Pulisic
like
Yeah.
and Ziyech,
I
when their
I
contracts are
and
in the end of
I do
the
I
period,
do
then
agree with
Cho
what
would
you're
get
saying
his
there,
time.
Klaus. And I agree with what you say. Like when people talk about Hudson Odoi being subbed off that Southampton game,
Yeah, but
people think that Hudson Odoi had a stinker, that's why he got subbed off. No, I remember watching that game, and I'm pretty sure other
was a good
people
game.
weren't
It was
that bad.
tactical reasons.
Now,
It was
no,
tactical.
not even tactical. It
Johnny,
wasn't tactical
stop
because it
saying
was
bullshit.
wait,
We are
hold on.
not
It was
kids.
a man for man swap. What the reason was that out of all the players to take off, the only person he really could do it to was Hudson Odoi, because like Klaus just said, he's the only one where it's like you can't really mess with his contract.
Yeah.
Like Werner, you can't mess with him. We did his release clause and we did personal agreement with him. He
I
would
don't
have said,
believe in all
"I'm
this
playing
contract.
this."
I think
You
if you're
think-
good
Yeah,
enough, you
I
play.
don't
Whether
believe
you
I don't
wanna
believe
believe
that
Good
it-
contract
enough,
BS,
you
bro.
No,
play.
but that is the
Listen,
truth. You guys,
if
you
you
think
want, I
someone
can
like
help
Morata
Mason
comes
Mount
in to tell
contract right now.
No, hold on.
For-
You
for-
think
If you
someone
want,
like
I can open a new Pandora box. Mason Mount contract. You know what it says? If he doesn't play a week in week out, he's gonna get 300K, and if he plays, he gets 50K. So don't.
Okay,
don't,
well,
don't
what about Billy Gilmore then?
Guys, one second.
Where
What
are
about
you
Billy
getting this from, Kazra?
Exactly, bro.
Where
What
are you
about
getting this
know
from?
because I do everything like that. I know.
Oh, listen,
Guys,
is your source Wallahi?
Do you feel like there's pressure from the board? The fact that Callum Hudson Odoi has not got the minutes that he deserves. Do you think it's pressure from the board that when they're buying
No,
these players,
but-
like they bought Ziyech and Havertz,
but-
they're kind of
Yeah,
forced
for
to
me-
play
Sarri
him?
was forced
one
to
of the-
play.
one of the
Hold
reasons-
on.
Wait.
Sarri was forced to play Cho in that season, right? Let's have it right. Because no, it's not bullshit. Because Bayern Munich were sniffing, and the board said if we don't play him, he's going to want to leave.
No, that's true what you're saying, Johnny. Because that's the only
It is
reason why I
true.
chose.
No, that's a fair.
It was
that's
true.
fair.
Because Sarri wasn't a guy to play youth. Come on, don't be silly.
Nah.
If
Yeah,
you
that's
think
true. That's true.
if you think Cho
we
was
play-
playing on merit, you're having a
we
laugh.
play
Joe
the
is
back-
playing
we
on
play
a
the
merit.
back-
The
wasn't-
guy who's
it
not
wasn't
playing on
merit,
merit
but
is
wait,
Mason Mount.
let me speak. Wait, let me
Brian
speak.
was trying to snoop it for
Wait.
free, man.
Wait, let me speak. Wait. I think one of the things that you have to look at is that what managers, we've had 3 managers now. Two have liked Cho and Sorry and Tuchel, And like one recurring factor is that they play him a bit and then they drop him. And I think at that point, it might have to stop looking at managers and and stuff like that, and maybe just look at what is Cho.
What is
Cho
happening
doing wrong?
behind the scenes?
Yeah, what is Cho doing wrong behind the scenes?
This is the
That even managers that like him are dropping him. Because
Do you know what winds me up is that you lot don't give this same energy to Tammy, bruv. Tammy gets so much disrespect, yeah. All right, and no one backs Tammy.
Johnny,
No one backs Tammy like they back Cho.
No,
Tammy's delivered. Tammy's delivered.
No, but Johnny, you know what the difference is.
Johnny, can you compare?
You know what the difference is regarding that situation. You know, with Tammy, he had the whole of last season to play, and he played up top for most of the season. If you're telling me Tammy didn't play most of the season, then you're lying. Tammy scored 16 goals, which is decent for what he did.
He was the highest goal scorer. And we got Champions League
he's the highest
football.
goal scorer. But for Chelsea Football Club, but Johnny, for Chelsea Club, do you expect 16 goals a season? Is that enough for you for our strikers?
He's not. Listen, he's a 22-year-old kid. What do you?
Yeah,
and he's leading your line. What do you expect?
But listen, Johnny.
Let's not talk about Tammy.
And can I add on his point?
That's another point, Brown. We will talk about that on here. I'm going to do a debate.
Tammy deserves his contract, all right? More than
Johnny
Cho deserves his.
Johnny, we'll come back to that. We'll come back to Tammy.
But either way, Hudson.
Yeah, but what sort of attack? Listen, why is Tammy not getting a
contract? He gets a
contract?
lot of disrespect, and it's not fair. And Tammy's looking at Odoi.
All right, Johnny, say your point. Say your point.
Let's talk about
looking at Odoi.
Let's talk about Odoi.
He's on 140 grand.
Guys, one at a time.
Can I speak first? Can I speak first? The reason Tammy is not getting a contract.
Cluster, stop.
We'll do a Tammy debate show, I promise. But let's just try and stay on topic. I don't want us to start talking about other players. Let's just talk about Callum Hudson Odoi. I will do a Tammy debate show, 100%, and Johnny and everyone we can talk about it. Yeah, but let's just stick to the Cho debate because that is a good topic that Johnny's talking about. And it does
all I was saying, Jem, all I was saying was it's in relation to Cho. I think
Johnny, you don't let anybody speak. I have to
let
go
me
now.
speak, Kazrev, bruv.
You don't let anybody fucking speak.
I've just asked Jem, bruv. I've just asked Jem, and he's letting me speak, and you're talking over me. So shut up. All right, let's have it right. So with the reason I brought up Tammy, it's a simple reason is he's looking at Cho on 140 grand a week, and Tammy's due a new contract. So
not 180k though, but I'm not getting into that. He doesn't.
No, I'm not getting into it. I'm not getting into this. Yeah. What I'm saying is, he did out of those two, Tammy deserves a contract, but he's not going to get one. Okay, but Cho is, and he's hardly played or delivered what Tammy's delivered.
No, wait.
And the fan base need to look at that. Wait. And just have a little bit like give the energy to Cho, give the energy to Tammy as well, guys. That's all I'm saying.
Johnny, like for me, I think with Odoi, it's a case of when Bayern are looking at your youngster and are willing to pay £80 million for him, surely you have to
the 80 million
Wait,
anyway,
okay, for £40 million.
Let him finish, man.
Surely you have to look at that youngster and go, maybe there's something in him. With Tammy, I think it's a case of nobody massive is coming in for him, number one. And like Tammy does something that nowadays is what big teams have, and that's pressing. A big thing nowadays is this guy needs to be able to press, needs to press from the front. The press always starts from the front. Tammy doesn't do that. And
he does it more than Giroud does.
He does. And Giroud doesn't start. Giroud doesn't start.
Yeah, and he was starting under Lampard this season.
Yeah, exactly.
Season, he was playing. Giroud more.
As much as Lampard was a decent, he was okay in the first season. He's not the best manager. So for me personally, Tammy is a whole different situation.
Let's not get into Tammy Beast anyway.
Yeah,
I don't want to.
You know, with Hudson Odoi, Johnny.
Yeah.
Sorry, you go first, Classic. You go first.
Johnny, you said Tammy deserved a contract, but you didn't explain what kind of contract he deserved. because
Classic.
I've heard he's been offered a
Tammy
contract.
Abraham chat another show. I keep saying
Yeah, but
Please.
I'm not talking
it is
Tammy right
connected with the Hudson Odoi, right? It is connected with the Hudson Odoi because Johnny, whenever we talk about Hudson Odoi, Johnny brings Giroud, Tammy Abraham, and all these city players. I don't understand that. I don't. He
No,
he doesn't talk about
apparently
Harvard's Pulisic
we're weighing
and
up a new contract for Giroud. Apparently we're thinking about it.
If we
So
win the Champions League, Giroud will stay. More
Why
than
the
likely.
hell
Yeah.
would we do that?
I've said that from
Anyway,
the start of the
Johnny,
season. But yeah,
but
go on.
Johnny,
What was
I
your
wanted to,
question?
Go on,
Johnny,
Darren.
I wanted to ask you a question real quick regarding Hudson Odoi. Yeah? You're obviously talking about the whole his contract and why he got the contract. Don't you think? Well, maybe this is what we're all debating here. We don't think Hudson Odoi is that good or whatever. But don't you think Hudson Odoi, in his whole like campaign under Chelsea, because he only just came into Chelsea's team, and people are talking about, oh, it wasn't his own merit, it was the whole pressure from Bayern. But he was working his way into the team from the under 18s. I can't remember another Chelsea player that's done that for like a long time. And from when he joined, bear in mind we had, who was our wingers at the time? Willian and Pedro, I think. And
Sorry,
these were
someone's
our
breathing into
main
the
at the
mic.
time.
Can you stop
Breathing on their
breathing?
mic.
Yeah,
Needs to,
somebody's like sleeping through their mic.
Who's
Yeah,
sleeping on
go
their
on,
mic? Man?
go on,
We
Darren.
don't want to hear you sleeping.
But
Who's
yeah, so
sleeping?
we had Willian and Pedro, and I feel like Willian and Pedro, and I don't know about you guys, but I was frustrated with them quite a bit for some point. And then Hudson Odoi eventually comes in, Europa League. And I know you're saying, oh, it's not in his own merit or his thingy, but Hudson Odoi performed. He was instrumental in us winning a trophy, something that none of the other boys have actually done yet. So
Yeah, before his injury.
I
Before
get
his
that.
injury. Yeah.
Yeah, before his injury. I hear that.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
still, it was before the injury that he showcased
He,
what
he,
he's a
he,
bit
but he
about.
got,
And even
he
but-
got,
then, he did
he
not.
got the contract off the back of that. He got the
Darren,
contract
but the
the
thing-
Yeah,
summer
exactly.
before.
Off the back of that performance.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's my point
Wait,
regarding what
No, but
he's shown us.
But Darren, there's a
Wait,
difference.
a
Darren, but
question-
there's a
a
difference
question.
when he's
Let
not
Alex
the main
go.
man. There's a difference when he's not the main man. At the moment now, he's having to go on the pitch, and I think he has to somehow put performance. That back then, he was just a youngster coming through the academy. There was not as much pressure on him, and I think there is more pressure on him now, and that plays a lot on your mentality, and maybe.
True.
Like, look, trust me.
He's got a
Like
point.
football's
He's got
just
a
about
point.
football's not just about
Yeah.
talent. Like the best players in the world, like Ronaldo. Ronaldo would not be the player that he is if it wasn't for his mentality. So mentality plays a big part. Maybe look,
And
I wouldn't-
I completely agree with you there.
yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Go.
No.
Yeah,
But
What I would say to what I would say to it, I wouldn't put it on this season, man. I think Tuchel is a smart guy, and I think he knows he's got a good player on his hands.
he's going to keep
No,
him
wait,
next
I
year.
think
no, but
Hudson Odoi
a
criticism.
a question,
Is
a question I have for
It's
you
even
guys is that if next season we are going to fight for a title, do you think Odoi is good enough to play at least 20 to 25 games next
No.
season
We don't
in
know
a
that though
title
yet.
We
charge?
don't.
He's not been
What
given
do you
that.
mean by
So
good enough?
until he's
Yeah,
given
but-
that, we're not going to know. Do you
The-
know
the-
what I
We
mean?
don't know.
problem-
We don't
the
know who
problem
we're
we
bringing in.
got-
We might bring in a
That-
striker. We might not. We might bring in a DM.
Yeah.
We don't
No,
know.
okay.
So it's hard to say.
Say we bring
you've got to have at
all of our targets. Say we bring in Lukaku, Verratti, and Marquinhos. Do you think Odoi is good enough to
Yes.
help out the
He
team
won't get in the
next
team.
season?
If
Yeah.
you sign those players, Odoi won't get given like any game time.
No,
So
I'm
he'll
not
go out
I'm not
on
saying
loan.
I'm not saying if he's going to get game time. I'm asking, do you think he's good enough to get game time
Of
with
course he's
Yeah.
good enough.
and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and
I think he's
title
Once
good
you-
charge
now.
in a
I
title
think
charge?
he's
Once
good
you play for Chelsea, you're good enough to play.
Yeah, but wait,
any
it's not that
guys
he's not,
like
it's not that he's not good
donkeys
enough,
play for
Darren. The
Chelsea.
thing is, it's not that he's not good enough. My
Yeah.
problem, and I've said it from the beginning of this show, is the manager going to give him that fucking time? Is he going to get 10 to 15 games a season so that we can clearly see if Callum Hudson Odoi is
Jem,
the big
Jem,
player, the player
I-
that we need? That's my question with it, because we
Jem.
haven't seen
Yeah.
it up to now. It's
I
not
think
happening.
he
You know?
will next
He
season.
will.
But the problem is Tuchel's coming halfway through the season. He hasn't had any time to breathe to work with these players. And
Yeah.
until he has a full preseason, then you will see how he works, what formation he chooses, because the formation is still limits us as it is, right? And if you bring Lukaku into this formation, that means Lukaku is definitely going to start. So it means you've got to fit in Havertz, Mount, Werner, Pulisic, Odoi, Ziyech for 2 positions. All right.
Yeah, that's tough.
Who does Odoi replace in the
In
team?
in this
Who
hold
would he
on
take?
in this
That is great.
formation, that's the problem you got. If you change to a 4-3-3, you might get away with one of those dropping into the midfield. But even still, it's a lot of options for Tuchel, and this is my thing because for me, Havertz is a false nine. I think we're more than capable. All right, so I think we can go ahead and mix in an Odoi, Pulisic, Ziyech. I'm still question marks over, to be honest with you. I'd rather have Odoi over Ziyech personally, but that's my personal thing.
Can I say a couple of
No,
things?
I would as well.
Can I say a couple of things on next season? I feel like next season should be better for him because he's not going to go to the Euros. He has a full preseason, not injured, to just work on himself, train the areas he knows Tuchel wants him to train. Wait, hold on, let me finish. Please.
Hold on, please.
Then after that, he should have a runner game. Hopefully, he should play, and then he's good. But also, let's not act like Pulisic, Havertz, Werner all have to have big seasons next season as well. Like, it's not just Hudson Odoi that needs to work on himself and get better for next season. All of those players need to turn up because they have not turned up this year. And that's and in your question when you were asking about is he good enough to play and Chelsea win the league, those players have to be good enough to play also. So it's all of them.
I know. I know that, but we're not talking about them today. We're talking about Odoi.
Yeah, well, I think you will. To answer your question, I think
but it's in relation to Odoi. Is what he's saying. It's the fact that our front three. None of them are set to start. There has been no consistency for this whole season. All right, and we're not clinical. Now, when you have a full preseason under a top manager like Tuchel, and potentially off the back of winning the Champions League, think about that. They will have more time to work with each other, and then we're going to start to see a difference. I don't.
Yeah, but
Ryan's not said anything yet. Ryan. Sorry, seriously, Beast. Ryan, what are you saying, bro? If he's there, he's not there.
You're on mute.
He's muted.
You're unmuted.
Yeah.
Ryan. He's not there. Go on, Beast. Go on, bro.
So even if we're firing next season, Tuchel is a manager that is gonna rotate anyways. I that's a given. So
he will.
I personally think Odoi for me has to go out on look. I think he needs a whole season. He doesn't need 10 to 15 games. He needs a whole season to.
Yeah, but he's good enough to play Chelsea.
Yeah, but
he's good
he
enough.
can't be loaned out because he's on one
He
leg.
needs a similar sort of game time to someone like Mason Greenwood. You see what Man
consist-
United have done with Mason Greenwood? They've given him so many games. Like, he started so many games, and it's been really good for him. The same sort of thing has to happen to Hudson Odoi. He needs
you can't burn him out. You can't burn him out.
He needs the same amount of game time. I can't see that happening under Tuchel. So I think the loan.
It's not even about
move
under
will
Tuchel.
probably be quite good for him.
With the pressure at Chelsea, and with how hard it is to break in, especially Odoi plays in a position that is so we are so desperate to fill, like that Hazard replacement or whatever, and there's so much demand, so much players that we have that play that position. For me, he has to go out on loan. He needs more than 10 to 15 games. He needs a whole season. He needs to understand
he
which
needs to
position.
show us what he's about. That's what he needs to do in a way. I think he's done it to a degree. I do get it, but I think you won't see if he's the man. If he's the man that Chelsea need to come in and be the one we rely on, especially for creating. He needs to improve on his final third in front of goal.
But Jen, you can say that to our whole squad. We've had to rely on Mason Mount. I mean, no one stepped up.
Yeah.
No one stepped up.
Huncho, before you go, let Ryan go because he's been sitting here for ages and not said anything. Go on, Ryan.
Yeah, I think Hudson Odoi he's a good player. I think I want to see him have more game time. Although I think with Tuchel, you just gotta trust Tuchel. I think what's it called? I think next season is gonna be a big season for him with his preseason. I think it'll be a big season for like a lot of players because Tuchel, what's it called? Tuchel will you can see what Tuchel wants to do with these players. So Hudson Odoi, he's a good player. I want to see him play a little bit more though, to be honest. But we're going into the most important 2 games of the season, so I think it's all about next season for him.
Fair enough, Huncho.
Yeah, I think.
What do you want to say, bro? I know you're the.
Go
I
on,
know you're the
Huncho.
defender. I know Huncho's the Callum Hudson Odoi defender. So let's hear it.
Listen, man, I've come on no violence today, man. I've calmed down, man. But I just want to say, for me, he should be getting minutes over certain players like Ziyech and Pulisic, because these guys this season have been nothing but shocking, man. Nothing but shocking.
Not
Ziyech,
Pulisic, bro.
now Pulisic has been poor this season.
No, no,
He's hardly played.
he has
Is
to
the
play.
conversation?
Pulisic has been dead over the past few games. Like that game.
Yeah,
I
what
think-
about Real Madrid?
Which game?
When it
No,
mattered?
but wait.
Johnny.
Like, I think what was it?
Just goes
Which
in.
game was it now? That West Ham game where we won 1-0. Pulisic was nowhere to be seen.
Bro, that's the
Well,
thing
no,
with
you say
Pulisic.
he's
Yeah.
nowhere to be seen, but
Nah.
did you not see him drop deep and draw fouls?
The difference
Things-
is, yeah,
things that we
when
need.
Hudson
Yeah,
Odoi
go.
has
But
when
like-
Hudson Odoi has a bad game, he gets on the ball. He tries to do stuff. Pulisic, he'll just go missing. You'll see him once every 20 minutes, run past one guy and fall over.
Oh,
Like,
I disagree with that.
He's
with
been
Pulisic.
poor. Johnny. The
disagree.
thing is, no one wants
I
to admit
disagree.
he's
They
been
both have
poor
been
all season.
Yeah,
Havertz
but
been poor all
Huncho,
season.
you can't
he's
say
been
Ziyech
injured,
poor
though?
all season.
you can't say Pulisic has been poor all season because he hasn't played all season. He's been injured
he,
most of the
he has
season.
more minutes than Hudson Odoi. So
He
all of
does.
this
Yeah,
injury stuff,
because he makes things happen.
He's more influential.
He
regardless,
makes
bro,
things happen in the big games on the big stage. Pulisic
he's
has
living
made things
off of the
happen.
Real Madrid game.
If you're going to
Johnny,
play
let's be
Odoi,
serious.
he's
No,
got
not
to
just
play
the Real
over
Madrid
Reece
game.
James more than likely.
It's not just
That's
Real
where he's
Madrid.
going to get in this side. Because I've already said the front three right now. The front three is too risky to start putting Odoi in there when he hasn't played enough minutes.
So Christian Pulisic with his
I
4
would have
goals
Odoi
this
in
Premier
final.
League season.
Pulisic has scored important goals.
I would have Odoi in
But
But
his
final.
his
the
four
big Champions
his
League
4
games.
goals this Premier League season. His 4 goals. Like
Yeah,
the guy's
name me
been
where they
poor this
were.
season,
Name me
man.
the games they came in.
I couldn't
One-
care.
one
Man. The
was
guy's
Crystal
been
Palace.
Why do we have to judge players based on statistics? All that? Come on,
Well,
man.
it's a load
I'm
of
not a
rubbish because I look at
I'm not a statistics guy.
I look at Pulisic
I'm
and
not
what he
a
offers to the
statistics
whole
guy, yeah.
team.
Hazard had games where he didn't get a single goal or assist, but he would still get man of the match.
Hazard. He's wearing his number, but he ain't Hazard. Let's be honest here. Last season, Pulisic was so great for us in the lockdown period, and we expected that form to replicate. He started this season, he got injured, he wasn't in the best
Yeah,
form.
3
But he's
injuries,
played-
Oscar.
But he's played a lot of games, and we have not seen that form replicated. I've heard all of you talk about how great Hudson Odoi's ability is, but you want to see it transpire on the pitch. For me, this season, we ain't seen nowhere near enough of Pulisic. Like
Yeah, but-
that game.
I agree with that.
Come
He's not hit the
on.
level.
No, I'm not
He's
It's
not hit the
true.
level.
It's true.
Yeah,
It's
It's
true.
not true.
He
It's
scored that
true.
goal against
I
Real
I know,
Madrid.
Johnny, he's
That
not
was a
hit the
very
level.
big
He's
goal.
living off of his
He's not hit the
post-lockdown
level as he
form.
did last
Pulisic,
season.
all right.
That's
Pulisic
fair.
on his day,
Yeah.
and in the games against Real Madrid, all right.
He's
And
living off of the
especially
Real
that
Madrid
got us,
game,
that
man.
hold on,
It's
that
that one
contributed to
game,
us
man.
getting
But
to a
at least
Champions
he
League
has one. At
final.
least he's got one.
He contributed to us getting to a Champions League final. Can you hear that? Yeah.
Yeah, wait,
Right.
Johnny,
Right.
Johnny,
So
Johnny.
let me land. Yeah. All
Let
right?
him finish. Let him finish, man.
That
Yeah.
player was hugely influential, and I'm not just talking about his goal output. I'm talking about his ability. Did you see what he done to Marcelo, to Sergio Ramos, to Casemiro, to the whole midfield? He destroyed them.
No, he's great. Like,
But how many times has he
hold
done
on,
it?
We're
I
not
wouldn't say
saying.
he
We're
destroyed
not
them, but
saying.
mainly
We're
not.
not saying.
Defense is really good.
Wait, we're not saying.
When
We're not
you're
saying.
Like
when
Kante
you're
We're not
was
saying.
different.
Johnny,
Wait,
When
wait,
you're
wait,
saying
wait,
to
wait,
me
wait,
that
wait.
Pulisic doesn't
Wait,
deserve,
wait.
that Odoi deserves to play over Pulisic, you're crackers.
No,
You're
no.
crackers.
We're saying.
Nobody-
We're
Because
saying.
right
doubts
now,
his
wait,
ability.
Pulisic is giving us more.
Wait,
Pulisic is
wait,
giving the
wait,
opportunity.
wait,
It's
wait.
man?
Let me
Pulisic is
let me
giving
All he's
the
given
land.
me is
Let me
pain,
land.
man. He's
Let
only
me
given
land.
me pain.
Wait,
Come on,
wait,
man.
wait.
What are you
For-
talking about? He's
it's-
only
it's
giving you
based
pain.
on-
What, to get to the
it's-
Champions League final? What
It's
are you talking
based
about?
on. Wait. We're just saying, based on the performances that Pulisic has been having in the past few games.
He's been class.
Wait. Over the
Class?
past few games,
He's been
and over the past few games, and Ziyech, those poor performances, we're just saying that Odoi should at least get a look in. We're not saying that he should necessarily deserve to start every game over Pulisic or over Ziyech, but just to even get at least 2 to 3 games where Pulisic and Ziyech have been poor consistently. That's all we.
Let's get it right.
Bro, the
guys,
whole
guys.
front line's been
Guys,
poor.
guys,
Pulisic
let's get
has
it right.
not been
One
class.
second,
He's
one
been
second.
arse, man.
Guys,
He's been arse.
Pulisic is our best player on his form.
Johnny,
He
one
can
second.
be our
Johnny,
best
Johnny,
player,
Johnny,
but he's
Johnny.
had no consistency.
But he's not on
Let's get it
form.
right. Christian
Yeah, but
Pulisic.
sorry,
Christian
Jim.
Pulisic.
Sorry, very quickly. He hasn't had consistency, Pulisic, yeah? He hasn't had that much consistency. He's been dipped in and out, but he's been forced to play even when he's not been that great. Yeah, because they need to get him fit, match sharp, because he's so important to the way we attack. Without
How
Pulisic,
long
that's
does it?
why
How
Lampard
long does it take
struggled.
a
One
player
second,
to
wait,
get
hold
hold
on,
of it?
hold on,
But
guys.
you didn't say that point for Hudson Odoi when he don't play.
Yeah, but Hudson
Exactly.
Odoi is
Wait,
not.
wait,
Hudson
wait,
Odoi is not
wait.
delivering like Pulisic
Guys,
does in the small
What
amounts
is
of
Yo,
games
listen,
he's
though.
And he
delivering,
doesn't
man.
get the
Guys,
same
wait.
See a
opportunities
delivery,
Pulisic.
drive
That's
One
off
why.
second,
half
guys. I
Guys,
just want to
wait.
say
Yeah,
something.
let
Guys,
them go.
wait.
Let them
Let
go.
Jem go.
2 seconds. 2 seconds. I just want to say something very quickly. Christian Pulisic on his day, when he's on his game, is our I think one of our best players, most important players. He
Fact.
can't be replaced. He just cannot be replaced.
Jem,
Yeah,
Jem,
but
but
he's
Jem,
got-
Jem,
It's
Jem,
that
I
Jem.
agree.
important.
Hear
I
what
agree
you're
with you
saying, though.
100%. I
Hear
agree
what
with
you're
you
saying.
100%.
On
But
his day, he
when
hasn't been
Pulisic,
consistent this season.
No,
Yeah,
I
but
get
when,
that. I
but
get
Let's
that.
be
when's
honest,
I
Odoi
man.
been
understand that.
consistent on his day?
Well, he
When?
doesn't get a look in. He plays
Listen,
well
He's
one
played
game.
games, but
Bro,
he
he
hasn't
gets
turned
played one
up.
game. He plays well.
He's
He gets
turned up
benched
in
for
a
5
couple
games.
games.
no, but that's exactly how you phrase it. He hasn't turned up. Like when Pulisic starts against Man City and is relatively ineffective, Hudson Odoi comes on for 20 minutes and has a big hand in the goal that we eventually scored to win the game.
I
You
get that.
say Hudson Odoi hasn't turned up. You don't say anything about Pulisic being anonymous. That's the point.
Listen,
That's very
nobody's
true. That
doubting.
is very true. You know,
Pulisic,
Yeah.
that is
Nobody
very
is doubting
Pulisic
Pulisic's
offers
ability.
so much,
But he hasn't
even when
been
he
offering
doesn't
us nothing,
score.
man. He
When
hasn't
Odoi
been
doesn't
delivering, man.
score, he hasn't scored. All right, not that I can think of. Has Odoi scored?
He scored 2 more goals than Hudson Odoi in the Premier League.
All
He
right,
scored
right. So he scored more goals than Odoi. Forget the goals. Take away the
Two
goals.
more.
When I look at what Pulisic gives to my team in attack, when we've been so poor this season, I feel more confident right
What has he
now.
given you? 4
with
goals,
Pulisic.
1 assist.
He holds the fucking ball. That's what he
4
does.
goals, 1 assist.
But
He
Johnny,
holds the
but,
ball.
Wait,
but guys,
Johnny,
guys,
Johnny,
Is he a
Johnny,
piece of
Odoi
hard
gives the
driver that he's
ball away
delivering
so
to us, man?
cheaply.
Johnny,
It's
in
not
our
just goals
biggest,
and assists.
Johnny,
as
in
well.
our,
Like,
Johnny,
the
I'm
games
speaking of
everyone
when
do.
I've seen him now at the end of the
Johnny,
season.
wait,
Odoi gives the ball away
Johnny,
cheaply.
wait,
Bro,
Johnny,
wait.
in our
He's
biggest,
got
I
every right
respect
to
you.
say that.
Johnny, you can't be talking end of the season. Pulisic's last 3 starts, he's been poor. He's ghosted, man.
Johnny, in our biggest win this season, Hudson Odoi played right wing back, and what's it called? I think Pulisic played, Havertz played, and Mount played. I
Pulisic
think
has
it
played
was
wing back,
against,
right wing, and left wing as
And
well.
then he played
Just
shit
putting
wing
it
yeah,
back.
and we I think we beat Crystal Palace 4-1. That
Yeah.
game, that game was immense, and
Yeah, and do you know who played, bruv? Pulisic played that game.
yeah, Pulisic
Exactly, and
played
Pulisic
that
scored
game,
2 goals.
but he was getting on
you
the
know,
end of Odoi and Havertz and
Yeah,
Mount
but Odoi
chances.
was playing on the right wing back, bruv, because we had
Yeah.
Mason Mount playing.
Yeah, and
was
he was
stretching the
a great
defence.
creative outlet. He was a great
and that
creative
was our
outlet.
Odoi
most
connection was
attacking
why we won
output.
that game.
Johnny, you want to know what the problem
Yeah,
is?
and then we
He
hold on.
plays
Then we
well.
took that into the next game, and
He
it didn't
plays
work.
well that game.
No,
He
we
gets
didn't.
dropped
Hudson
for
Odoi
5
got
games. That's the problem.
That's my point. This is my argument. Like, I don't have an issue with like Pulisic and all these other players. It's just that when you're telling me Hudson Odoi gets a chance and he doesn't take it, he takes his chance and doesn't play the next game. That's what happened.
Johnny,
I don't
against
know.
Crystal
He
Palace.
doesn't take them all the time. Let's get
Against
it right.
I know he didn't take
Palace.
him all the time, fam.
Wait.
You know what? Yeah,
Against Crystal
Pulisic,
Palace. Against Crystal
Odoi,
Palace, he
Odoi's
played
out,
well.
but it's not
But
on the same
guys,
level as Pulisic.
guys,
I'm sorry.
guys,
it's
guys,
not.
can I make a point real quick? Yeah,
It's
can
not.
I make a point real quick? And I feel like this is what people are disregarding when we're talking about Hudson Odoi. When you guys say that he doesn't take his chance all the time, if you play 2 games, you win man of the match in 2 games, it doesn't make sense for you to then get dropped. Because when we see Pulisic in form, he carries on. He don't stop playing. When we see Ziyech in form, wait, hold on. When we see Ziyech in form, he doesn't stop playing. He keeps going. And we see Werner in form, if he ever was in form, he will keep playing regardless. But Hudson Odoi doesn't play all the time, even if he plays well. I'm not saying he hasn't had bad performances, he has, but that's the biggest difference. I told you guys.
Johnny, you want to know?
Hudson Odoi played out of all the
Wait. Let me go.
Let me go.
That's why I'm saying it must be an attitude thing.
Bro,
It can't be-
regardless
it
of
can't be
how
on
he
that
plays,
level.
yeah.
It has to be
Hold on.
It has to be something behind the scenes. It has
Bro,
to be something.
regardless of whether he has a
It's a
good or bad
contract,
game,
boys.
he gets benched the next game. Pulisic,
Yeah,
Man
it
City,
has to be-
poor.
that's-
He played against Arsenal, poor.
He's
He
not
played
been
against Leicester,
poor.
That's why it
He's
has
not
to be
been
something.
poor.
He came off the
It
bench
has to be-
in the final. He was all right, and the next game poor. Bro, we
That's
need to
what-
stop
that's-
giving this guy excuses, man. How,
That's
like,
why it has
you know
to-
what?
it has
you're
to be
telling
an
me he offers
attitude
this,
problem.
and that. He has 4
It has
goals,
to
man.
be an
Honestly,
attitude problem.
The one thing that CFC Beast mentioned earlier was if Chelsea are challenging for a title, would Hudson Odoi play? Let's be honest. If Pulisic was playing like he played in lockdown last season, no one would have an argument for Hudson Odoi because Pulisic is doing his job. When Pulisic doesn't do his job, that's when we need Hudson Odoi.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I can't hear this anymore. Right? The two legs. Hold on. The two legs against Real Madrid. The two legs against Real Madrid. Stop telling me about Real Madrid. I'm going to lose my shit in a minute. Tell me about. I swear down. If you don't let me land, I'm going to lose my shit.
That's not Real Madrid. Because you've mentioned Real Madrid at least 4 or 5 times. Tell me another time.
Listen, I'm going to land now. Yeah. Klazaref, please don't let me speak now, yeah? Let me speak.
Klazaref, let me speak.
I can't stand it, bro.
I never get it.
No, Klazaref,
you're gonna let me speak, yeah?
You're next, Klazaref. All right, let him just go. You go next.
So the two Real Madrid legs are most important games for our season. The most important games. You hearing that?
You said it 4 times.
Final. Yeah, because it's not getting in your heads, bro. That Pulisic played.
You've told me Real Madrid
let me
5
speak
times,
because you
man.
keep talking over me. Pulisic played in the first leg. He scored that goal. Yeah, 1-0. All right, and then the second leg was instrumental to us winning that game. Where was Odoi, bruv?
He didn't play.
Right. Why didn't he play?
Why didn't he play?
Why didn't he play?
Jody, you told me. Because
No, I'm telling
know
you. Because the manager didn't think he was good enough to play, bro.
If a guy plays good in a game and he gets benched the next game,
when you say
it makes
to me,
no sense to me.
Cho should be playing over Pulisic, well, clearly our manager's not thinking that. There's a
nothing
reason.
this season.
No one's disputing that Cho's not talented.
4 goals
but in the
this
big
season,
games, when it matters, he's not playing.
Deep. He's scored goals. You're telling me about Real Madrid. You told me 100 times. You've told me about Real Madrid 100 times, man. 1 game.
Because it's fact, it's our most important games, bro.
You lot have made your point. Let Klaus now.
Let Klazaref go, man.
None of this back and forth.
Listen, the reason Pulisic gets picked over is just because his one skill is good. His one skill is that he can get past players. That's it. His
you know what? We're going round in circles. We're arguing about on.
I've trained under 12 players in Austria. I know Pulisic is nowhere in comparison with Hudson Odoi. Hudson Odoi is so inclined. Listen. You can laugh as much as you can. I'm telling you, I feel insulted that you guys are comparing Pulisic with Hudson Odoi. I don't even want to be in this argument.
I think we should be really proud that we have 2 amazing youngsters.
You're waffling.
We're going around
the reason why a guy plays good 1 game and gets benched for the next 6 games. Pulisic plays poor for 3 games in a row. Comes off the bench next game. He does all right.
I'll tell you why.
Stink and he plays again. It needs to make sense, man.
I'll tell you why. It's something is going on behind the scenes that they're not telling us.
That's bullshit, man. That's bullshit, man.
It's not. Because
no. That's a cop-out. If you can't give a proper reason why, you're gonna say something behind the scenes.
Wait. Don't call him lazy. Don't call him. He's not lazy. He's everywhere. He's on adverts. He's playing. He's on the training. Tuchel regards him high. He's always training. He's slim guy. He's not a fucking fat like Zuma, is he? He's not like injury prone like Pulisic.
Why are you on about? I'm telling you,
Odoi, he's not lazy. He's not lazy.
Let me make a point real quick, regarding this whole sort of, because we're looking at all of the players and we're talking about, we're giving these. Not excuse. We're talking about him being lazy, him being because of behind the scenes that we don't know, because we don't know. So let's not say it like it is. I think like Klase was saying, I'm not saying that for sure because we don't know their contracts. But if Katz is brought in for 70 whatever million, a record signing, I'm pretty sure we got to play him. We can't just leave him on the bench. Timo Werner, release clause. he's got to play quite a bit. He's not going to get
That's what I'm
dropped.
saying.
Ziyech,
That dog.
we bought in as
Yes.
well, and this is
Yeah.
where I do agree. If we are deciding to play all of these attackers, realistically, just Hudson-Odoi gonna play. So that's where the point Jem's making. I do sort of hear it because also we bought him for 60 million. He didn't just walk into this team. All of these guys has got an advantage over Hudson-Odoi. So
Can't walk.
Exactly.
He'll pull his
so
hamstring.
in
Let's let
terms
Joe
of going
talk,
forward,
guys, after that.
it is pretty hard to sort of, you know, for Hudson-Odoi, he's got to fight, and this is why I don't agree him being lazy. He's got to fight basically 2 times harder than all of them before he's gonna play. So
Yeah, I
I
hear
he's
that.
even getting the minutes he gets.
And
It's
the
not
reason
him being
Sancho,
lazy.
and
Do
the
you know what I
reason
mean?
Sancho left
But
City, he
This Joe
didn't
guy's a
get the
happy
City
guy, man.
contract. He didn't
Let
want
him
the
talk,
City
innit?
contract because City was not giving him play time.
Wait,
And the reason
everyone
Sancho
stop.
got a
Everyone
Dortmund
stop.
contract
Stop.
is because Dortmund were willing to give him a play time. So it's all about the contracts. Don't come here and talk shit about Cho because he doesn't have a strong contract. Don't
All
talk
right,
shit
it's
about him.
I couldn't give
smash
a
it.
toss about his
What are you
contract. I
on
care what
about,
he does on
bro?
the
Boys,
pitch.
boys,
It's what he does on the pitch
please,
that's
The
everyone
guy
important.
stop.
who can do so
Stop,
much
stop,
skills,
stop.
he's so
Stop.
wait,
fast,
hold on,
he can
Klaus.
play everywhere.
Kick him
Talk
out,
shit.
please. I beg you, man.
I'm just gonna
Literally.
start muting
Klaus,
people.
hold
I'm
on.
gonna have to. Right. Anyway, so people, before we
Hello?
move forward, there's 50 people still here right now. Please smash that like button. If you're new to GNA TV, please also subscribe to the channel as well. We appreciate that you're all still here with us, listening to the chat. The chat that we're talking about here is Callum Hudson Odoi and whether he can progress as a football player at Chelsea Football Club. We're going to go to the guy that just doesn't stop smiling. I've never seen someone smile so much in my fucking life. Yeah, Joe, nice to have you
Hey,
here, man.
hi,
How you
hi.
doing?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, man. What is it you'd like to say? Tell us.
I think I'm so fed up of this debate now. It's been a very, very long one. I think both of them are really, really talented, and we should be grateful we have people like Hudson Odoi. And I'm pretty sure under Tuchel next year, you're going to see Hudson Odoi really, really go places. The guy is extremely talented. He has a lot of potential, and I think every manager sees that. I think it's just his hard work. Like you're going to see him really shine next season. And here's a question I've asked Jem a lot of times, but I want to get it out to you guys. Let's just say, touch wood, it doesn't happen. If City beat us, are they bigger than us in the final?
The City are a bigger club than Chelsea if they beat
If
us.
they beat us in the final, do you think they become a
No
bigger
way.
club than us?
On
No
They
based
have
way.
of what they
7
won,
Premier League
yes.
titles.
On based of what they won, yes.
Based on trophies, yes. But based on like major honors in the past, like in the Premier League era,
They've won more Premier Leagues and they would have got a
They've won
Champions
more,
League level with
yeah,
us.
they've won more
So
Premier Leagues and
they're on par.
they'll be bigger
They're
than
on
us.
par.
They'll be
We
bigger than us.
got more European trophies though, still, don't we?
Yeah, but like,
Yeah.
come on, like I know it's
So
I know it's
technically we're still
European
big.
trophies, but
We've got
like,
2 Europa Leagues. And they haven't.
Yeah,
So
but they
potentially,
have
yeah,
they
on
have
that
2 more
argument,
prems. They
you
have
could
2
say,
more prems though.
yeah,
They have 2 more
prems.
prems.
Hold on. I have a
Yeah.
question for Johnny.
No, I think they have one more prem. I think. Yeah.
Can I just say one thing, yeah? Why is there pressure on both Pulisic and Hudson Odoi to do well if they're that young, man?
They play for
Hudson
Chelsea.
Odoi is only 20.
Because they
pressure
play
when
for
you play
Chelsea.
for
They play for
Chelsea.
Chelsea Football Club.
Yes,
Yeah.
you have to have that pressure. You have to have.
And there
You
is
don't walk
pressure
into
on every
Chelsea and get your place. You
single
have to
Chelsea.
earn your place. At
We're not a
Chelsea,
tuck
yeah?
shop.
That's what we are.
I know we're not
Yeah.
a touch shop, but look,
We're not a tuck shop. That's
I've
brilliant.
got a question for Johnny.
But
I've got a
the
question
pressure
for Johnny.
is on someone who plays week in, week out and
Said it
doesn't
right.
perform. And the
Johnny.
Yeah, no, but
the pressure
no,
is
but
lesser. Listen, the pressure is lesser on the bad one. Pulisic
okay,
has
then
less
don't.
pressure
Okay,
compared to
then
Hudson Odoi.
don't give no sack to Werner then. Don't say Werner's good on that because if
Werner is good.
well,
Werner's
no, but
shit.
no,
no,
but
he's
you
not.
know,
He's shit.
Werner's
He's shit.
excellent.
Johnny,
I think
Johnny,
Werner is really
So
good.
why
Getting
are
His
you willing
standards
to
of
give more time to
excellent,
Hudson Odoi and
standards are too
Pulisic?
low, man. Come on,
Do you know how
man.
many goals he's contributed?
I
No,
think
he's
we're
missed
missing
what?
Werner here, man.
He's missed
Like, he gave us so many goal
Johnny,
contributions.
you know he's the only reason why Matt does not have over like 10 assists.
Yeah, but listen, we're where we are and we're in the Champions League final. I couldn't give a toss.
No, but like Werner, like
Why am I
Werner.
going to argue that? Why do I care? We're in the Champions League final. We're going to make top 4. All right. All right, we lost
Like,
the FA Cup final.
Timo
But
Werner
apart from
Wait,
has been
do,
that,
shocking
wait.
this
So you
season,
think
man.
Werner's
50
been
million
good?
pounds
You
signing,
think
man.
Werner's been good this
he's
season?
all good next year, mate. Don't worry about it.
He's
He's
all
got
good.
minerals, man.
With
Wait,
that
Johnny,
first,
Johnny, do
He
you
has
think
our
he's been
highest
good
goal
this season?
contribution.
Johnny,
So I
Why are
think
people
he
willing to?
counts
Why are
as
people
good.
needs to
willing
be
to give
baptized.
time to
Then
Timo
why are
Werner?
you not stopping it? You said we need to stick to Hudson Odoi, and we need to stick to Hudson Odoi now.
You stick
No,
to
but
Hudson
but
Odoi. Yeah.
but my point is, why are people willing to give time to Timo Werner even though he's like 25 and not willing to
Because
give time to
because
players
He's
like
just
Hudson
fucking
Odoi?
come to our league and didn't finish his full season.
Werner because
In
Werner
COVID. In
Werner
Germany, bro.
because
Get what?
They're not Bruno
Every
Fernandes.
coach
Because
gets it.
Timo Werner
For
smiles
Stuttgart,
after he misses
for
chances. That's what it
Leipzig,
is.
for Germany, for us, every coach wants him. I don't know
Not
what
every
more
club
explanation.
wants him, man.
Bro, Hudson
What
Odoi
more
and Pulisic are both better
explanation?
dribblers than Werner, fam. I don't hear nothing, bro. He's
They're
a
not better
better
dribbling.
dribbler.
dribbling ability
They're not
doesn't
better
mean that you're
dribbling.
dribbling ability doesn't mean that you're a better player.
They
But
offered
They're not better
the
dribbling.
reason why people are willing to wait for
Pulisic
Werner
offers. Pulisic offers.
is because Werner on the pitch, when you look at Werner, is one thing that he's missing. Which for me, I've given up on Werner. I'll be real, but the reason why people are still sticking is because it's literally just his goals. He is
No,
is
it's not,
literally
bro. It's not
is
literally
is
just his goals. It's
is
not
no because
Nah,
the
because
amount of
this
times
is
I've seen him one on
overall
one with a
play.
defender, he doesn't even know how to dribble, fam.
Wait.
It's
This
like
is
he's
yeah,
overall
yeah, but
play. Yeah.
Werner
It's his
Werner
overall
wasn't
it's
play.
not
Werner
one
was
thing, bro.
But if
when
Werner's
he's
scoring
giving
these
45
chances,
minutes of
then no one's
full on
talking about it, innit?
energy, like 45 minutes, he's giving full on hard work. Like he has two lungs. Do you expect him to finish the game with his leg? Do you expect him to score goals?
the problem
This is not Leeds.
This guy,
This is
this
not
guy's the only
Leeds.
reason why I'm alive today, man. This guy's the only reason why I'm alive today.
Too much
Stop
energy.
This
arguing.
is not Leeds.
the problem
man.
is
Yeah.
the
It's not
problem
always
with
about
Odoi.
running.
The problem with Odoi is that he doesn't have anything to go off. We don't have anything like
yeah,
apart
that's
from that.
facts there in the chat. That's facts.
Listen, if Werner has,
Let me
someone
land.
like
Let me land.
Lukaku,
Let me land.
he
Let me
can
land.
finish the game in
Let me
first
We are
20
where
land.
we are
We are
because of
Let me
Werner
Werner
land.
has
and
the
Guys,
capability
Let me
guys.
land.
to finish the game in
bro.
first 20
Wait,
minutes.
let me land. Let me
If we lost against Real Madrid and Werner missed that, everyone would be on Werner, bro.
wait,
Don't say we are where we are
wait.
on
But he
Werner.
Wait, let
didn't,
me
did
land.
he?
Wait,
Werner
let
has
me
Didn't
a
land.
lot of
finish.
Let me
chances
land. Let me
to
land.
keep him going.
Okay, go land.
Wait. So Werner, when we talk about Werner, we know like we signed him because he got like I think it was like the second most goal contributions in the world behind Lewandowski last year. So we have something to go off. We know that Werner can still score a sizable amount of goals.
Facts, man.
With Hudson Odoi, we don't know. We don't if even if we play him, we still don't know exactly what we are going to get.
I don't want to
And
hear
that's
this argument
a
about
lie.
Werner bagging 30 goals,
and
bro.
that's
Reece Nelson bagged 15 goals in the
Do you know what? Yeah,
Bundesliga, bro.
Werner's got more pressure
Reece
than
Nelson,
Odoi, and
bro.
I'll tell you why he's got more pressure than Odoi. Let's have
Of
it
course
right.
he is.
Werner's come in with a £50 million price tag on his head. He's coming to Chelsea after scoring 32 goals in the Bundesliga, and he's not scoring goals. The pressure is on him. With Odoi, there's nowhere near that amount of pressure on Odoi.
And still Werner
Odoi
is better
has
than
time on
Mason
his
Mount.
side. Right?
Stats, eye
He's come
test,
through our
Werner is
academy.
better than Mason Mount.
Werner
Still.
doesn't have that. So,
I'm
so
telling
Yeah,
you
when
honest,
Werner
stats
comes
Johnny.
in
wise,
and he's
eye
contributed,
test wise,
respect
Werner
him,
is
bruv.
better than Mason Mount.
What?
Johnny, I agree.
Stats
Why
wise,
comparing our
eye
own
test
players,
wise,
bro?
Werner is better than Mason
Cosmo,
Mount.
stop trolling, bro. Come on, man.
You are
We
trolling.
can
You're
talk
the guy
whatever,
who's bringing Mason Mount.
Klaus.
You're the guy who's bringing Werner
You're
and
Clever,
Hudson
waffling.
Odoi.
pick
You
out
know
clever,
you're
man.
waffling.
No,
Thank
I'm
you.
I'm
saying
not a
Werner's got more pressure than Odoi, and that's a fact.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
you
true. That's actually true.
I got a question. Man.
you
I
man
got a
have to
question
dip.
for all of you.
You man have to dip, yeah. So like safe or
Safe.
all love,
Chill out, bro.
love,
We're going to finish
love,
soon
love you,
anyway. I'm
man.
going to give it
Love,
another 5 minutes and then we're going to tie it
Yeah.
up here anyway.
yeah,
But yeah, thanks, bro, for
love.
coming on.
You know
Love,
what it is, yeah.
Cheers, bro.
love.
When Hudson Odoi plays good or bad, we know the next game he will be sitting on the bench. Havertz, this guy drops a stinker, he will be subbed on next game or he starts. Werner,
Nah,
same
don't
thing.
bring it, bro. Nah,
Pulisic,
it
same
doesn't
thing.
work like
No,
that.
but
No,
that's
Havertz had
actually
a stink
true.
when he didn't
When
play
Hudson
in that
Odoi
one.
actually
How
plays
these
well, he
guys
gets
done this
benched.
season, man.
Mason Mount
I
and
need to
True.
stop protecting these guys, man.
And all,
Bro,
what was
these
the
guys
other?
are not your boyfriends, man. Let's be serious, man.
Why
Let's be
does Mason Mount
serious.
get the time?
Enough protecting them, man.
Havertz
They've been
had a
poor.
stinker
They've
against
been
Arsenal
poor.
and he didn't play the next game.
Havertz has been
Mason
poor
Yeah,
Mount
all
is
that's
a
true.
season.
stinker.
He's been
So,
poor all
so,
season.
so I don't want to
Shocking.
hear that. There's no favoritism with Tuchel. If you're not
There
good
is,
enough, you
there
ain't going to
is,
play. No,
there
there
is.
isn't.
How's
No,
there
there isn't.
favoritism?
Pulisic gets played so many times, man, and this guy drops
He
stinker
doesn't,
after
mate.
stinker.
He got dropped in the
Huncho,
second leg of
listen to
the
me,
Real
bro.
Madrid.
Listen,
He got
This
dropped.
guy is
He got dropped in the
so
second
bad,
leg
man.
of Real
I'm
against Real
going to
Madrid.
tell
so
you
bad.
how it is. This is how it is, all right? The bottom line is, Odoi's not going to play in the front three, all right? He's not. This is for the next 2 games. He's not playing in the front 3, and the only position he can play is right wing back, and he's got to compete with either Aspie or Reece James. That's the bottom line. And it's up
I
to
think
Timber if
next
he
season you
wants to
guys will be
play him.
actually surprised
None of them.
because
Watch
Tuchel
Pulisic
is
play.
really a
I've
big
just
fan
been
of
consistent
Pulisic plays
stingers,
on the
Hudson
man.
Odoi.
left. There's no one better than Pulisic apart from Werner. They
Bro,
all play
why?
on the left.
What has Pulisic done this season to warrant a place on the left?
We're going to go here again.
What has he
No,
done?
we're
Back
not.
against
We're
Real
not.
Madrid.
I'm not going here
No,
again.
Going
no,
against
no. What
Real
you're
Madrid.
doing, you're telling me about his ability instead of performances.
No,
Right, boys,
he's
I'm going to bring
getting
it
it
back.
wrong.
One second. I'm going to bring it back to the last question of the show because it's nearly been 2 hours as well. Does Callum Hudson Odoi need to go out on loan, or is he at the right club to progress as a player and become the player that we think he can become?
If
Oscar.
people really care about, okay, let me say something. Let me say something.
It's simple. It's simple.
He
It's
said,
either
Oscar, let me
it's
go.
either the brother gets
Why are you
sold
not talking?
or he gets
One
minutes.
second.
Simple.
Why is everyone talking?
If
Ask
people, okay,
Oscar first.
He
Go.
asked me a question, guys. He asked me a question. All right, cool. Now, I've been watching Chelsea for a long, long time. And as far as we all know, John Terry was the one academy project that came through from this club. Since John Terry, there has been absolutely nobody up until the past couple of years. Yeah, there's been
Mason Mount.
absolutely nobody up until the past couple of years. I'm saying Mason Mount included.
Ain't no money, man. He's
So
broke.
up until that point,
Don't even try it, Huncho, bruv.
Yeah,
He's your player of the
finish your
season.
Johnny.
Have some
Bloody
respect.
hell.
Edward Mendy's my player of the season.
Okay, let's
but
speak, man.
Let
Let's
Oscar
speak, man.
finish,
Yeah,
man.
let me
Let
see.
Oscar finish.
Boys, let him finish,
What an
guys.
agenda.
Come on,
So
Stinks,
so
man.
my point is, we've now come
It
to a
stinks,
place.
Huncho, bruv. Stinks, man.
Johnny,
Hey, let him
Go on,
finish.
sorry, Oscar.
You man are
Sorry.
disrespectful, you know.
We've now come to a place where, thanks to a transfer ban and Frank Lampard, we now have academy players from Cobham in the squad. These academy players from Cobham have been good enough for about 5, 6, 7, 8 years. It's only now we've decided to start playing them in the side. I don't want that to change. Do you guys want to go back to being a club where we just buy, and none of our academy players ever make it? No. So we need to start having more patience for players like Reece James, Mason Mount, Callum
Livramento, Lawrence,
Billy Gilmore, Ampadu, whoever it is, when they come back into the side. We need more patience. And Callum Hudson Odoi was one of the players that we thought was too good to go on loan. He had to go straight to the first team. So
that's one thing.
Oscar, for me, it's simple, man. It's either we sell the guy or he gets minutes. Like,
I
it's
agree.
that simple.
Can I say one thing? Yeah, I can guarantee this. Yeah, if Callum stays next season, yeah, I can guarantee Tuchel gonna put him sometime in starting lineup, probably the cup games and maybe a fixture condition sometime in December. That's what I can guarantee. I can't see him potentially starting in the first team next season.
I actually think next season Hudson Odoi is going to be really important for us because the way Tuchel and Hudson Odoi are bonding, you can see it at the end of the games. I really think next season he's going to surprise us, and
Let me
Tuchel
just
is
say one thing.
coming
Yeah.
with something special.
Let me say one thing. If people really care about Hudson Odoi's development, why can't he go out alone?
He's
Listen,
too good.
I think he's good enough to play for us.
If we're being serious,
He's on 120k.
I think he should go alone.
You know?
Nobody's going to pay him 120k, but he
if
doesn't
we
need
loan
to
him
go
out,
on loan.
he's not going to come back into the squad.
He's never.
And he doesn't need
he's
to go
not
on
coming
loan.
back
He's
into the
okay
squad.
at Chelsea.
Why shouldn't he?
He's under Tuchel. He's going to learn a
wouldn't he
lot
come
under
back to the
Tuchel rather than going
Why
on
wouldn't
loan.
he come back to the squad if he gets loaned out?
If he goes,
It's a stupid discussion, bro. Tuchel's not going to let him go.
If he goes on
Tuchel
loan,
wants him next
he learns
season.
how to.
He wants him.
plays week in, week out, and he won't want to come back.
He's not going to leave, man.
Week in,
He's
week
not
out.
going to come back and accept bench minutes, man.
I can
bench minutes
state.
for
I can
Christian
state.
Pulisic
I
staking
will
up
say
the
how
place.
it
No
is.
way, man.
Adoy's not
Man.
leaving next season. Adoy is going to be at Chelsea next season. That's a fact. He ain't going nowhere, mate. He ain't
Yeah, I
going
don't think he's
nowhere.
going. That's true.
He's
Yeah.
not.
No,
He's
he's
not
not
going to
going
go. Tuchel loves him. He's not going to go anywhere.
So, Johnny, you
Exactly.
answered the question
Yeah.
then. So, you think he can progress at Chelsea? You don't think we
Yes,
should
of course
loan
he
him out?
can.
Yeah?
Of course
You
he
don't want to
can.
loan him out?
He's got the minerals. He's from the roots, man, of the academy. Of course
He's
he
got the
can.
minerals, Johnny.
Yeah,
I
of course
respect
he
that,
has.
man. I respect that.
Oh
man.
my
Johnny, you'll
days.
actually be surprised. He's really
Adoy's
talented.
always
I
had the
think next
minerals,
season
man.
he's going
Bro,
to show
Johnny, you're
up.
my cousin, man. You're my cousin.
Johnny,
Originally,
can I ask you a question? Johnny, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
That's true. Got the minerals, though.
I just said, yeah, fatter, bro. Cho's got minerals, bro. He's got
He's got
minerals.
minerals,
He's got Evian minerals.
He's got the minerals, man.
Some Chelsea fans, yeah, they want to buy Rice, they want to buy Lukaku because they're Chelsea fans. Guess what? Hudson Odoi is a Chelsea fan.
Chelsea
He's a Chelsea boy. We want Mason Mount. We want Odoi. We want Gilmore in our team. They're blood. They're blue blood.
Let's go on to Darren. Let's go round. Let's go to Darren next because they're going to tie it up soon. So, Darren, what are you saying, bro?
Yeah. I think I'm going to echo pretty much both Johnny and Oscar. More Oscar's point of when the youngsters started pushing through this Chelsea team, I loved it. I can't lie. I've been waiting for the boys to come through. I want our Rashfords, our thingy to brag about. Do you know what I mean? Hudson, I know he's not matching or doing what we all expecting him to do, but boys, give him time. Let's not rush. We don't have to be that club that just sell buy all the time. Give him a bit of time. Hudson will work his way through. I don't think it's ideal for him to go on loan. He's still just come off the injury. It's probably best that he's going to ease his way with his minutes. Regarding the whole debate, I don't care, man. As long as the players are playing well, that's all I want. And Hudson Odoi, let him ease his way back into the team and then fairly fat guys like Ziyech, Havertz for positions. I just want to see him incorporated a bit. Everyone's been rotated nicely except for Hudson Odoi in that attacking bunch. So hopefully...
Okay, can I ask you a question? What's the standard of...
Wait, hold on, Jamzinho.
Listen,
relax.
I worry that next season, if our players, the players that we brought in kick on, Havertz, Ziyech, let's just say Pulisic, Werner wakes up. I'm just saying, this is all hypothetical, yeah? Where does Callum Hudson Odoi get his chances? Where does the minutes get in? If we're winning games, the players that are playing well,
it's a long season. It's a long season.
They're going to be starting. Tuchel's going to start them. Yeah. So what happens then? That's what worries me.
I think, Jem, to be honest though, if you look at how...
Hold on. Can I cut that before I go quick here? I will say that Jem's correct. If one of our players, like Havertz, Werner, Ziyech, firing next season, it's going to be hard for sure.
I'll answer this real quick. Yeah, I'll answer this quick.
But what's the probability that all of them will start firing?
Hold on, bro. Hold on.
Because Asby's not going to play as much. Asby won't play as much.
Exactly. That's what Johnny was going to say, yeah?
Reece is going to play more of a right centre-back with Christensen. Yeah.
Exactly.
So
that's anyway. Huncho, what are you saying, bro?
Jem, I'm serious, man. Johnny said he has the minerals, yeah. So why don't we bench that bum Mason Mount, man, and give Hudson Odoi his minutes, man?
Calm down, bro. Calm down. You pushed the wrong buttons, bro. You're pushing Johnny's wrong buttons. You're pushing Johnny's wrong buttons, man.
No. Play the season. He's undoable.
Hold it in.
Mason Mount, man.
People, this is Saturday night.
Minerals Mount, man. He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT.
Yeah, I'll say one thing. This is Saturday night, yeah. The last thing that you all need in that panel, yeah, you don't want to set Johnny to go off. That's for sure.
I don't want the Johnny bomb. Not now. I want to finish the show.
Okay, can I ask you, man, a question? What standards do you held on Callum Hudson Odoi?
I want Joe to be for next 20 years stay in Chelsea. If he's in reserve, if he's in a bench, I don't care. I want this lad to be forever Chelsea player.
You know, man.
So, okay, let's say he reaches his ultimate potential. What goals and assists do you want to see from him in a season?
That's stinking up. People,
anything about 20 is really good.
Good night, people.
Big up, Fata.
If Pulisic isn't polluting the pitch, then I would expect him to get maybe a couple more assists.
Bro, Hudson Odoi should stay at right wing back, man. I don't want to think of left wing, man.
No, brother, you rep Kante with dreads, man. Respect yourself.
Have you guys seen the way Hudson Odoi attacks?
I did that, bro.
Guys,
is that what his Avi is? Kante with dreads.
Guys, hold on. I'm going to respond real quick to...
Unbelievable, man.
Guys,
you have the Simpsons, bro.
Guys, I'm going to respond to what Jem was saying about if the rest of the attackers were all firing. And where would Hudson Odoi fit? I think this season, if anything, it shows that, well, I think one of the biggest traits or the nice thing about our players is that they can fit in different positions. I think Mount is one of them. Reece James has shown when he's played right centre-back and done it decently, right wing-back as well. And Johnny also made the point that Azpilicueta, has he got the legs to keep going on hard for the next 2-3 seasons? I don't think so. So I think Hudson Odoi can play right wing-back and can play the attacking roles. I think that's perfect. That means he stay in the squad. He can fill in if anybody gets injured. Right wing back's there for him.
Yep.
Right wing.
My point on that is,
so
if that means he's then relying on people to be injured for him to then come, which means he's not getting the minutes he deserves. Which means you're not getting the progression out of him.
But at the same time, he can
push you. than
Jem,
that you're having anyway. So
Jem, let me
my
tell you
point
what's
is
going to
still,
happen. Yeah.
this is what I said at the beginning of the show as well. Is it not better for him to just go and progress on the loan and then come back? And
He's not going to come back, though.
listen, just stay with me. Only purely because then maybe whoever's our fucking manager and the Chelsea board can open their eyes more and realise they ain't got to keep spending fucking money because he's not going to be given that opportunity at Chelsea.
Jem, let me say this,
Yeah,
man.
no, I
He got that contract, so that means the club know they know they believe in the guy, man. He's not gonna go on loan. For me, either you sell him or you give him minutes. Pulisic next season, still inconsistent. Ziyech, he's still tired. Havertz, he'll improve. Werner, maybe fix his touch, his wonky right foot, get a couple goals here and there. The rest
Back
of
your
them,
players, man. Instead of slandering your own players, bro.
Bro, I'm not slandering. I'm being realistic,
Bro,
man.
you said
am I gonna say Ziyech will score 100 goals, man? I'm not stupid.
no.
I'm being serious, man.
Just don't say, oh yeah, Hudson Odoi is this, that, and then like
Bro,
saying
you
that.
have Kante with dreads, man. Just go sleep, man.
Bro,
Just
you
go
have
sleep,
Hudson Odoi on your deathbed, bro.
Wait.
You have Hudson Odoi on your deathbed, man. I
It's
don't
late
think
for
you
you,
know.
man. Just go sleep,
Our
man.
fan base is negative.
You go
Our
sleep,
fan
bro.
base is negative.
You go
Guys,
sleep, man.
does anyone else want to say anything more on this before I end it? Because it is getting
Yeah, I
late.
think I want to say something before you guys end it.
Just remember your player of the season is. That's what I'm going to say.
Edward Mendy.
Yeah,
I'm out, boys. I'm out.
Man. See you later. There's nearly
I
60 of
just
you
want to
still
say,
here. We appreciate the support massively. Ryan, go on, bro. You say what you've got to say. Last, come.
Yeah, well, Hudson Odoi, yeah, he's a good player, and obviously he played at the start of Tuchel, but there's one more space in that front three at the moment, and there's no point of speaking about him now because you got a Champions League final, and we're not gonna throw Hudson Odoi in randomly. He might get some minutes off the bench, but for Hudson Odoi, like right now, it's Mount and Werner who are guaranteed in the front three because Tuchel likes Werner, and then the third space is between Ziyech, Havertz, Pulisic, and Hudson Odoi. But I think next season, I think we have to see what Tuchel wants to do with him because with a pre-season, he probably won't go Euros as well.
Next season, Ryan, you're gonna have a similar problem because you can have Lukaku in the mix.
I don't want to get into that.
That's not a problem. That's a great solution. Like Lukaku scoring goals and having somebody for these wingers to play off is better, I think.
I hope he scores goals, but we'll get into that another debate, I swear. But honestly, guys, thank you very, very much. Look, Joe, mate, I've never seen someone smile so much in one show. Is your lip not hurting? Like, is your face not hurting from smiling so much? I love it, mate.
I've been watching a lot of streams from Terry's streams to everyone's streams. So getting on a stream is amazing. So I don't think I'm going to stop smiling, mate.
It's good to have you here. It's good to have you here as well. But guys, if you want to get into the giveaway, which I'm going to be doing at some point next week, you have to go and follow the GNA official Instagram page, which is in the description below. So make sure you go click on that. Go and follow us over there. There will be a giveaway over there, which I won't tell you what it is.
Are you giving away a signed Hudson Odoi shirt? Yeah.
It's going to be a Coutinho one.
Where's Money Mace? Money Mace, man.
Money. Maybe a Money Mace. You never know. If Johnny wins the giveaway, then it's definitely going to be money on the back, isn't it?
He'd probably win boxes of that.
Yeah. But guys, appreciate it. Next week we will either do a Tammy debate. We can either do a who else should we have done? A Jorginho debate, or we can start talking about Lukaku. Because
I can't lie, guys. This time next week we might be champions of Europe.
That's true. That's Saturday night. Forgot about that. We will be having a party on this channel if we win the Champions League. I don't know how we're going to play or what I'm going to do yet, but we're going to do something big, honestly, and it's gonna be hectic, and we're going to let all them rivals know about it. Trust me, across YouTube, across socials, they're all going to hear us from a fucking mile away. But let's not talk too much. Make sure you enjoy your night. Get your good night's sleep. Hope you enjoyed the show that we had tonight. The guys that have joined me today: Oscar, Darren, Johnny Boy, Klasev, Jams, and the smiley man Joe. Thank you very, very much, Hancho, all the other guys that are on as well. Have a good evening, guys, and take care of yourselves. Peace.
VIP still key like Bando bitch, oh please.